Well, hello everyone, and a good night. Welcome to SOS 180. It is I, Mad Gamer II. I am joined by the lovely Miss Pixie 6.
Hello, iMad. Are you ready to see Group 1 of the night, the first round?
Oh yes, I am so ready for this first round. We have a Magic Beans versus Honorbound. It's going to be a crazy matchup to be sure, and it is no less crazy than Crazy himself on Magic Beans over there.
Oh my goodness, you're so right. Crazy and nutty.
Crazy and nutty. Oh, wow, this is going to be quite the matchup indeed.
Now, I know we've played against Honorbound before at LTC of 2024, and they were really good. They kicked our butts, but I want to see what they do against maybe a higher level team than you and I are.
So true, bestie, so true. But yeah, Honorbound is definitely a force to be reckoned with here. They've been around a while. I've seen them in several tournaments, so they are well-seasoned veterans of the scene, and it's going to be fantastic to see them watch. The meta has shifted quite a bit since I think I last got to watch them, so I'm curious what they're going to be running this time around. But it is going to be on a zone. So actually, I was looking at the bracket. We're going to be doing like a dual zone, or not dual zone, but like a zone, 2 zone maps per every round, so we can get lots of zones action.
I would call that dual zones action. That's two zones.
Well, I don't want to be confused with maps that have 2 zones on it. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That could get confusing.
Yeah. Another interesting thing for this SOS, we do have the Ludi map modes in the pool tonight, just to get some practice in.
That's really nice of them. Thank you, TOs.
Ooh, okay. Loving to see that the stringer out there. You don't see that too often. That's going to be a nice matchup. Pencil does tend to get a lot of the spotlight on this particular map. It's got some nice places to set up for, but when you have the stringer there, I keep confusing with the well string, but just like is able to get some corners and not be in the direct line of sight of that pencil.
Yes, we're seeing Yoshido here on this stringer, just trying to get paint on the ground, getting an early pick here. Another pick there. That's 2 off of Honorbound right now. They are pushing up here, just trying to get more paint down. We see chumps come out. They are taking a lot of space here, just keeping a hold of that zone.
Ooh, but they do have to watch out for the Wii Bomb. Doesn't paint the zone, but is going to get Halo on the shot in there, trying to take out the pencil, but unfortunately is not able to. Going to be taken down, but it's going to allow the rest of the team to take control of the zone, and they're going to be pushing Magic Beans out for the time being. Crazy here, just chilling on the left side, looking for an opportunity, looking for a pick. They are going to do some chip damage, but at the moment, it's still a heavy control for Honorbound.
That Blaster does have that Booyah Bomb ready, but it's not really an opportune time to use it quite yet, seeing as Honorbound is still in control of this space here. But as I say that, it does flip over to orange. It is ticking down for Magic Beans. We see the rest of Honorbound trying to move their way back to zone, but getting picked off by Crazy here as they move a little bit more forward.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be 2 down off of Honorbound, allowing Magic Beans to take the zone, but it didn't look like they saw the squeezer there, so they were able to get a jump in to start their next push. The lead is going to be swapped once again in Magic Beans' favor, but Magic Beans' favor. The screen is going to be going across the map. Booyah Bomb is going to be followed up with it. I was going to see if they're able to capitalize off of that. It looks like there's still the chumps coming out, though. That's going to be difficult to make a push in.
Yeah, I'm really watching Honorbound here. They are all really close to the zone, but they're just not finding these picks here. But as I say that, the Zuka takes out 3 of them. My goodness, Halo able to get all those picks. One is running away now. We're seeing Honorbound in control of this zone. They are pushing up. They've got the sodas at the ready. They don't have any more specials online quite yet, but they are painting up. They are building. They are trying to keep this lead here. Or not lead yet. Almost.
Nutella really did just denying the quad right there. Going to be jumping out safely. And here we go, Crazy going with the blaster and really going to be trying to push in with the chumps following up. They're in such a prime position. They flip the zone, hardly any contention here. They're just really pushing Honorbound out. They're doing a good job. Like, Honorbound is not able to really set up and stay in. And I'm not sure if it's because like just the dual tip jams of that the stringer and the blaster. But nonetheless, that Zuka coming in clutch once again, taking out 2. And they're going to be trying to go for the zone here, but just doesn't have enough support.
We are seeing Honorbound getting a lot of picks, though. We see different members of the team going in and getting a few picks, moving in with the rest of them, trying to get this zone. But it's just, they kind of have to wait for that opportunity, and I'm not sure they're going to have enough time to just wait around for that.
Yeah, we're getting down to 6 ticks going. Ooh, but 2 members of Magic Beans do go down, but they take 2 down in return. Pie Man is really going to have to clutch this up because they have to just hold that zone right now before their team could get in. Just all the paint's going out. And the Zook, oh my goodness, the Zook getting 2 with the 3 down. Honor Bound able to catch that zone at the last minute. Now they're just going to have to hold it.
Yeah, I'm so amazed how Honor Bound was able to clutch up right there. They all jumped in that corner and were able to take the zone. Now they just got to hold it here using this Booyah Bomb. We see Pie Man moving up, just trying to survive against 4 members of Magic Beans shooting at them. We see them down here getting taken out by Nutella. They jump out. We see the Chumps come out. We see the Whale come out. It is now painted for Magic Beans.
Wow, that setup was crazy. Nutella went down, took out the flank right there, but then as soon as that Chumps came out, all of Magic Beans pushed forward and the zone just capped instantly. Really quick with the reaction there, really good with the synergy. But now here we go once again, Honor Bound trying to look to take that zone. They did take out the Zap here. Zuka is going to take 1 as well. Booyah Bomb looking to take a 3rd, but does not find it. So now, once again, Honor Bound in control. But just again, Magic Beans has done such a good job of retaking. Like, their Honor Bound's going to have to switch up. They're going to have to do something different.
Yeah, Halo's just trying to survive over here on this right side. They're throwing bombs, though. They are trying to keep this painted for Honor Bound. It is ticking down, but it looks like it's going to quickly go into Magic Beans' favor. They are all shooting at it. All of the members are up, but we need a pick before we do this. There's 2 down on Magic Beans. We're seeing Honor Bound trying to go back for the zone. They have it painted. They have the screen out. Ooh, are they going to be able to take it down close enough to flip this lead?
Oh, Honor Bound holding on to it for the time being, but no, Magic Beans going to be taking it out in the last 5 seconds. Nutella can be pushing and getting 2, and that's going to cement the first game in their favor, taking game 1.
Wow, and the wipeout right at the end, just securing that win there. Magic Beans, pretty aggressive play, I would say.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And with the bow pick, not as well common as you usually see, but again, just getting so many good chip damage, and I think that was the bow with the Chumps as well. So having that Chumps just anytime they're ready to push up. I'm trying. Wait. Was that Zap there? Was that the cooler Zap or was that an orange Zap? Did they run double Chump?
You know what? I didn't look. I did see sodas come out from one team at one point, so I would have to guess it was the gray Zap.
I was gonna say I would be surprised if they didn't run cooler there. But still, nonetheless, just having the Chumps in there really did work in their favor because anytime they got popped, again, just they were ready to push up and they were able to take so much space with it. And I think interesting as well on the other side, we did see screen just because of usability isn't seen quite as often anymore, but it was good to see it in use from Honor Bound here.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't sleep on the Chumps, I'm at, because they are able to take so much space away from the enemy. Just a lot of people just kind of underestimate their power there because they can't get the kills as well as many other specials can. But hey, sometimes you just need the space. Sometimes you just need the control.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only just like the initial paints just do a lot for the team, but I think, like you said, just a lot of people underestimate the power of the Chumps. So every time that they come down, like if you don't take time to like deal with them, is like they could come bite you. Just all that chip damage can stack up against you if you're not careful.
Definitely. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing more stringer play, though. You're pointing out how we don't see stringers very often, and that's true, but I think when you do see a really good stringer player, then they're the one to watch. They're usually the MVP of the team.
Right, absolutely. And we are going to be seeing Rainmaker coming up next. And I don't want to do too many spoilers, but I think it's going to be on Humpback Pump Track. That's going to be interesting. And honestly, that is a pretty good stringer map. In fact, I was getting it mixed up with the Wellstring earlier. We do see Wellstring being a top contender for Rainmaker just because of the damage it has against the shield.
Stringers in general are pretty good against that shield.
All right, here we go.
Oh, the Wellstring, it comes out. You predicted it.
There's that Wellstring. Ooh, I'm bringing in a Vanilla Blaster as well. Another uncommon pick. Magic Beans really going crazy with the nuts there. Ooh, but we're going to be seeing from Honor Bound. They're going to be swapping off to that Carbon Roller. Going to be bringing that out. That's another weapon that does really well, but it does. Ooh, here we go. Halo going to be pulling out, trying to find something, but unfortunately does not. That's what I was gonna say. Like the one thing with the carbon rollers, it does need a lot of paint support to move around effectively.
Yeah, and with that wave breaker down now from Magic Beans, they're going to get spotted. They're not going to be able to flank as well as they would like to. We see Yoshida with this Rainmaker here, going to try and put it in that pedestal, but getting distracted, getting pushed away by that Booyah Bomb. They do manage to get in the pedestal, though, and we see some specials getting popped here by Honorbound, just keeping Magic Beans away from that Rainmaker.
Yeah, and a good reaction time from the Wellstring there. Just like they saw the Booyah Bomb coming out, and instead of committing to the pedestal, they squid rolled out and then came at it safely, able to get the checkpoint here. And now they already have 3 members of Honorbound down once again, so they are able to get the pop and just continue their push, able to get more points on the board. They do have to watch out for that pencil setup right there. Soon the Honorbound with that the special charging up, they're gonna be having some special. Booyah Bomb is already getting me thrown out, just corralling that Rainmaker, but they still take 3 members down. That is a wipeout. This potentially be a KO here. The Slosher's the last one to stop it, and they do.
Goodness, Honorbound really got to get this Rainmaker out of here. They are pushed up. They are trying to get some picks. At least we see Halo here on the carbon roller just playing with this 52 in the corner here, just trying to stay alive. The rest of the team sees them, though. They got to get out of there, I'm
And that is one of the I guess weaknesses of the rollers. Like you do rely a lot on the surprise, but once you're called out like that, it's hard to be able to move around effectively. But already Magic Beans, like we saw them go 3 down, but they are in control of the Rainmaker once again. Just the amount of orange paint that they have out here, just they are doing a good job just maintaining that control. Honorbound, they are putting on a lot of good pressure. Zuka's gonna be coming out, but like until, oh, there we go. That's a splat that they needed. Now they're gonna be able to start pushing in and start taking that mid space.
Yeah, Magic Beans, we only see one of them in mid right now, but they are holding their space quite well for the rest of their team to get back in. We see the Stringer getting down some paint here now. Honorbound's going to have to try and get some picks to move this Rainmaker forward. All of their members are right there with the Rainmaker, using those strikes to try and get forward. It looks like they're going to be able to get it into the pedestal right here.
And nicely played right there. They were able to get the splat, and then they also had the strikes to follow it up and give them a safe push. But and here we go, that Wellstring really bringing on the damage, taking out the pop, or taking out the shield of the Rainmaker before Honorbound even has an opportunity to contest it. And now with 3 and a delayed wipe coming out, Magic Beans is once again in control of the Rainmaker. However, with the push like that all the way down to 1, like it's just a stall game at this point. Like the only thing they can do to beat that score is KO.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying for it, though. Although I see Halo there in mid, trying to get that flank, trying to get some picks here off of Magic Beans as they try and push this Rainmaker forward. Looks like they're just surviving back here until this jump out. Now we're seeing strikes come off of Honorbound, just trying to push this Rainmaker back, trying to stop them from getting any farther forward.
We do see the Rainmaker carrier get taken up by Magic Beans, but Honorbound does go 3 down, so it is going to be just kind of a stall right there. Magic Beans just kind of regrouping, looking to pick up the Rainmaker again, and a bomb comes out, takes down the Rainmaker carrier, and once again gives Honorbound another opportunity to break out of spawn.
Ooh, that's 2 down from Honorbound now. They're going to have to play defense here, using that Booyah Bomb, just trying to get Magic Beans out of this corner, but they're still there. 3 members of their team are still there, pushing the Rainmaker forward. They did lose it, however, and we're seeing Honorbound now trying to pop it right here on this right side.
Still a minute to win it for Honorbound right here, but they're going to have to take some serious space. We still see quite a bit of orange paint here on the ground, and several members of Magic Beans just lurking about. There's going to be one on the bunker right there, and if Honorbound is not careful, could get a runaway pickup here, but unfortunately for them, it is going to be a reset in Maker. And again, the instant pop from Magic Beans. They do lose their zap and their 52, which is going to give Honorbound once again that opportunity to start pushing up.
Ooh, Pieman getting some picks there, helping Brandon get this Rainmaker a little farther forward. There's 2 more down now. Ooh, but one of Magic Beans able to get that pick. That's Nutella here on the left side, just continuing to get picks here, moving up, being pretty aggressive for an end zap, I would say. And they're able to hold it. Yeah.
Nutella on the zaps, just absolutely going, I don't need, the only support I need is myself.
So aggressive, goodness. But they were able to get those picks. I believe they got like 3 in that corner there just at the end. But yeah, they were able to save it for Magic Beans.
just absolutely rushed down the Rainmaker, just stopping the push in its tracks. And then as soon as it ticked down to 10, just they were able to pick it up and pull it back. So overtime couldn't kick in.
Yes. Oh, goodness. Good job for Magic Beans. I believe this is a best of 3. So this will be the end of round 1 for these two teams.
That's right. Magic Beans taking this set and going to be getting a nice win in their book for the beginning of this tournament. And as you said, it is a best of 3, so no game 3 on the zones of Barnacle. But yeah, it is interesting just that the Stringer pick, like they were very consistent with it and did exceptionally well with it. And then Natel on the Zap as well is like, they had several frontliners, but the Natel's like, nah, I got this. Watch this.
The next match we are hearing is not quite ready yet, so just stick around and we'll get right back to you. Hello everyone and welcome back to Swim or Sink 180. We are on round 2. We're going to be watching the Whiprays versus Grandmasters. I'm Ed. How do you feel about these two teams for round 2?
Well, we all know the Whiprays. They are another long-standing team, just like Honor Bound, has been around for a while and are really establishing themselves in the competitive scene. And they looks like they do have a couple of subs. Just want to give a quick shout out to our friend Lila, fellow TO of the Twin Squiddies. Love to see it. But Grandmasters as well have a pretty stacked roster. Halo being one of our former coaches for my team. So it's going to be fun to watch these two teams face off.
Yeah, I don't know who to root for anymore. We know people from both teams. I can't play favorites.
But it's going to be on the zones of the Makomar starting us off. And this is one that's going to be interesting for those, because I know that Lila plays Blaster and then Halo tends to play Bucket. See, this is our inside source. We know the very specific players. But like Blaster and Bucket do tend to play well with both the ledges and also just the narrower spots of Makomar. So it's going to come down to what are they going to balance that out with? What are they going to follow it up? And I think the backline is going to be the main. I always like to focus on the backline, being a backline myself, but just that really does set the tone for the whole team. Like what you choose to have kind of as your anchor is going to affect how you're going to build your comp around that. And so I think Makomar is one of those interesting ones where it does favor a lot of frontliners, a lot of short range weapons that tend to fear backlines. So it does it balances out just the interactions.
Yes, definitely. I love the flanks on this map, just going around in the breakfast aisle, as some may call it, just getting behind the plats and the stacks and whatnot to just scare the other team. That's my favorite thing to do as a Sploosh player.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, okay, so we're starting things off real spicy here. First of all, Whiprays going to opt for the backlineless comp. Going to be bringing out the brush to go alongside that blaster. And then on the other side, Grandmasters bringing out the double bucket and I sprat the Sorella Brella. Another pick that is not often seen.
Ooh, yes, we're seeing this Brella on this left side here, just trying to survive. We're seeing the Reef Slider come out, getting two right there. Ooh, they're moving up to the zone here, just trying to get it painted, but no, it is still pink. It is still in the Whiprays' favor.
Whiprays are going to be holding out right here. The Reef Slider coming in clutch, did take out two, but here comes the splashdown, going to be cementing that hold even further. It is just the pencil for the Grandmasters remaining, and with Lila bearing down on them, they are heavily chipped, but will survive to live another day. Right now, the Grandmasters, they're setting up. They do have the Reef Slider coming in, not quite able to cap the zone. Strikes are going to be coming in to follow up, but not before that bucket gets taken down. Lila, once again, just really stalling out these two players in the left side.
Yeah, they did get taken down to this Brella player here. We're seeing the Inkjet come out. They're just painting up here, trying to get this pick of the Whiprays player, and they do manage to get it. We see this is still pretty green in mid here, although members of the Whiprays are still up. They are still trying to jump in, trying to contest this zone. We see Nate being pretty aggressive, just helping the rest of their team getting these picks off of Grandmasters here.
It is interesting because with that backline in this comp, especially, so we saw the Inkjet in play coming in just looking for that zap, but because they are all frontliners, very agile, and like they were pretty spread out. Like the Inkjet usually gets that value from being able to focus on the backline, figuring out where they're clumped up, but just like it was so focused on that right side, just the rest of the team was able to move in, and here we see them they're really contesting that zone. Grandmaster is going to be holding on for the time being, but no one has gone down just yet.
Yes, we're seeing Haru here survive against members of the Whiprays, just pushing them so far back. They managed to live, though. We see Lila here on the blaster, just being a little menace here, just trying to get more paint there, trying to scare the Grandmasters from dropping down. Looks like it's working out pretty well, though. They are able to just move around, able to stay alive. They do have to face this Brella here, and they managed to get this pick with that bomb, helping them out. They are still there. Someone's got to get Lila out of there if they're going to try and get towards mid.
Lila making plays right here. I didn't like with the splashdown kit. They also have that point sensor, which can just put a damper on the bucket, trying to make any plays outside of that. We do see coming in from the right side that brush here. I think the brush combo with that blaster, you get the blaster underneath the ledge. Brush just coming in from the right side, especially popping that whale. Grandmasters don't know which way to turn. Ancient is going to be coming out, but Lila is going to get the nice trade, and the Whipray is going to be taking a nice KO for this game one.
Goodness, I think Lila was MVP. I'm not playing favorites. I'm not just saying that because they're the TO of my LAN.
Oh,
they
yes.
did good. They did good.
No, I think like it really did come down to such a favorable matchup for the Whiprays. Like again, just we Lila underneath that ledge, just especially with that last inkjet, that was such a favorable trade for Whiprays. It just was cut off that spearhead that I think the Grandmaster was looking for. But I do want to give a shout out to the shot and the zap as well, because I think that what really did enable for the blaster and the brush to go in and wreak such havoc is like they opted not to go for the backline, but instead they went for the double painting shooters. And so between the cooler and the strikes, they were able to just keep the zone in their color, keep everything nicely painted for the brush to be able to move around, and then just keep the specials flowing. They kept the specials flowing and just kept that momentum up.
Definitely, I definitely agree with you there. But I feel like Grandmasters, they might have been on the back foot there, but they have the potential to get back in on this next one, which will be Clams on Scorched Gorge.
Ooh, Clamslets on Scorched Gorge. I know this is one of your favorite map modes.
Yes.
It does tend to favor that pencil because of how open it is, but at the same time, it being a Clamblitz and having those nice little grates on the top there as an alternative route, that brush is going to be doing some cheeky plays for sure, just absolutely going for the circles around that pencil. It is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like if you get called out in the open, especially when you have that double bucket with kind of that double midline, it does have a lot of space to work with, just so much area denial. You're really going to have to just play for that open space very carefully. Mind you, you have a lot of cover in the mid there, but you have to time it with specials before you want to take any more space beyond that.
Yes, definitely. I feel like a brush here will do a lot of those cheeky plays. As you said, it is kind of the move to be able to go so fast with an ink brush, to be able to get behind the team so easily, and to be able to just narrowly navigate something like a pencil that has so much paint control over a map.
Mm-hmm. Now, we did see the Sorella in play in that last one, and that doesn't often get picked as a map pick as far as I'm aware.
Oh, no!
I definitely see them bringing it back here. We might get a sneak peek here before we get the reset. Same comp coming out, but except they are going to be bringing a pencil from Whiprays, and of course still going to be sticking with the Sorella. I feel like if you are playing Sorella in this day and age, you're just gonna stick it out. You don't, that's not a on the fly pick. Like that's something you are dedicated to.
Yes, definitely. I was hoping to see more Brella play there. It looked like they were having a little bit of a tough time against Lila and the rest of the bombs from the Whiprays. I guess that is kind of the foil of the Brella. If you get the bomb thrown at it, that's kind of it for you.
Mm-hmm. Now, it does allow to kind of tank it for a little bit. Like you said, just once you do stack up those bombs, especially coming from a shooter like the T-Tech, which can just sit back and pump those out, it is going to be hard to kind of withstand that. But I think like you said, it did struggle against Lila's blaster. I think Brellas in general tend to be in an unfavorable matchup against blasters. That is their weakness. But considering they were running the double shooter before, I think if they had more opportunity to kind of get in those engagements, they do fight very well against mid to short range shooters.
I'm looking forward to seeing that here. Hopefully we'll see more of those matchups happen between the Brella and the blaster and everyone else. But we're seeing now not any, I don't believe, you mentioned the pencil earlier on the Whiprays being a new pick from before. We're seeing both teams pile into mid here. It looks like the Grandmasters all have one down already. Oh no.
Slosher is going to be taken out pretty early by the pencil again. Like, you don't want to be caught out when that pencil is looking at you. And I think it was a good pick from the Whiprays. That played well into their favor for Malcolmart, but here with all this open space, you do want that extra range here. And here they go. The Whiprays getting into the first clam basket pick of the game here. Going to be tossing a couple more to keep it down to 74. And such a crucial bubble placement by Lila here. And they're going to get another power climb in, bring it down to 54. Lila just really holding it down. Is going to be taken out by the Brella here, but they were able to stall long enough for their team to kind of push in and just keep that space.
Yeah, we were watching Sire on the ink brush there, just surviving, getting down the ramp, able to move around, getting away from the Grandmasters as the pencil was able to continue to be defensive there. We're seeing Nate here pushing up pretty aggressively though, even though they don't have the clams yet to build a power. They do go down to this bomb, however. We're seeing the rest of Grandmasters kind of scramble to get control of their ramp once again.
I think it's like really speaking to the Whiprays play right here. Like you said, the basket closed and they had several down, but they still stayed in. They still were able to keep that kind of space, and that just delayed Grandmasters from being able to push back in. Now they are going to be getting 2 down here, able to get those picks, but with the whales coming out, they're looking for some footing. The blaster from the S-Blast is going to be taken down as well, which kind of going to slow things down for them. Tabby here is going to get a nice splat on the blaster, and so it really just stalling for time, looking for that opportunity.
Yeah, I was watching the Grandmasters struggle against the Whiprays pencil there on that right side. They just couldn't move any more forward there. But it looks like Whiprays here, able to kind of get behind Grandmasters, build a power clam, able to get it in there. The brush is down, but looks like the rest of the Whiprays are just trying to hold the ramp, trying to hold it open, just keep this space that they made here.
That was so well played. Like no one saw that coming. We saw the Grandmasters. They were getting some nice space. They were setting up. They had the paint, but then just the brush and the coming in from behind, and they had a teammate there to. They didn't even make the power come to the right under the basket. No one suspected a thing.
Yes, we're seeing Lila here with the bubble on the right side, getting a pick but going down. We see Static here with the pencil, just keeping paint on the ground, just trying to play defensive here. They are a little pushed back, seeing as Nate is all the way up here, all the way on the enemy plat here, trying to get clams on their snipe now, getting more clams, getting a pick, just trying to build up, but it looks like the Whiprays are kind of scrambling to build that power clam.
Yes, they had another opportunity to break it in, but there weren't the miscommunication on who's supposed to hold all the clams. They did manage to survive the inkjet there, and they're still going to be keeping this corner here. Grandmasters, they got the cooler online, but no really other specials to kind of push them out. And then Umbrella going to be taken down here. Strike's going to be popped very soon. Like they gotta, because just all the amount of pressure Whiprays are putting on right now. But just know the bucket's going to be taken down before they can do that.
I'm losing my mind, I'm mad. There's 2 of them with 7 clams. Why didn't they build a power? They were right there.
This is oh my gosh, just they're holding somehow. They have all the space. The pencil is underneath the basket, but like you said, just here we go. Here goes one in the power clam. They finally were able to build a power clam to break it in. Strikes are going to come out trying to push them, it is all over the map right now. Lila is dueling the Brella. The Brella is way back in mid. Bubble is getting popped, and the basket remains open as we get into this last minute of the game.
It looks like they were looking for that Brella still behind them.
I mean, the Brella didn't. Oh no, the Brella jumped out. They have the inkjet here. They're gonna get. Oh no. Yeah, there's a splat. They just need 2 clams. 2 clams to get the KO here, but it does look like Grandmasters finally are able to flush out.
Wait, there's someone behind them. There's still someone behind them.
I was just about to say that they finally flushed out the Whiprays, but no, there is a shot behind the basket. Unfortunately, without any clams, mind you. So the Grandmasters have another opportunity as we get down to 20 seconds, but still, the sheer chaos that the Whiprays are causing right now. And look at this. Nate's still here, still alive, just putting on the pressure underneath this ledge. And just the Grandmasters, they need to come together. They need to start getting together to build a push. But like while 2 of them going down on the ramp, the last one's trying to find this flank, and unfortunately does get taken down by the brush. Overtime is kicked in. Grandmasters are on the back foot. So much yellow paint here, and the Brella's going to be taken out once again. If Whiprays get this ball in, and it looks like they might, that's going to be the end of the game. Whiprays taking a nice 2-0 against Grandmasters in this set.
Maddie, that game... That was all over the place. My goodness. You saw the Whiprays. You saw them, how they tried to handle all those clams. You saw them all over the enemy side of the map. Just, goodness.
We saw all the Whiprays, and at the same time, we didn't see the Whiprays. Just they were everywhere. They were just... They were in the back corner. They were in the back door, the front door, just all over the place.
They were in the basement. They were in the attic.
Basement. They were in their walls. They were in Grandmasters' walls.
That's exactly
it got
what
so
happened.
chaotic. I could feel the Southern just getting pulled out of me.
That's exactly what happened. Goodness. All right, it looks like round 3 is already ready. So I guess we're just going to move on to that. This best of 3 goes to the Whiprays for round 2. Let's see what...
Yeah, taking a look at the bracket here. We did hear that the Birthday Cake was facing off against the Whiprays in the previous round. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Birthday Cake in action. Love me some Birthday Cake. But they did get 2-1 over the Whiprays. So they are definitely a force to be reckoned with. We'll see if we see them later on. But looking at Group B here, Whiprays still getting a nice another victory for them. So they're going to be sitting at 1-1 for their sets. And let's see, Grandmasters.
Did you even have Birthday Cake for your birthday this year? Are you just lying to the stream right now? You lying to 48 people?
Well, how am I lying? I like Birthday Cake. Just because I didn't get a Birthday Cake doesn't mean I don't like it.
I don't know. If I liked Birthday Cake and it was my birthday, I think I would demand that cake be given to me.
Dude, that's less of a need for Birthday Cake and less of a will to demand cake. I'm just not the demanding type.
But it's
like
your
the birthday
birthday. You get one day a year to demand.
That's true. That is fair.
Oh goodness. Anyway, enough about that.
I was trying to see because I saw that Birthday Cake and Whiprays are both 1-1 in their sets. I was trying to see where the Grandmasters fit in, but I missed it. That's okay. We'll come back to them.
Yeah, Chuddy's calling you out in the chat. You're a fake cake enjoyer.
Wow.
That's your splash tag now.
If I can find it, I'll make that my splash tag title. I will.
I'll get Widow on the phone.
Oh my gosh, they'd give me so much crap for that. Ooh, but speaking of butter, we're going to be seeing Orcale versus Upcurrent for our round 3 match of groups.
Ooh, it looks like we're going to be starting off with Splat Zones on Ship Shape. That'll be a fun match. A fun starting match.
Ship shape on the zones. That is something interesting. We don't see zone ship shape anymore. It's always tower control. Well, I guess they took tower control for Undertow Spillway, so we're going to be seeing zones on ship shape. It's like the pseudo Flounder Heights, the better Flounder Heights, I would even say.
Ship Shape is?
Yeah, for zones specifically for zones. I don't know why it is so different, but Splat Zones on ship shape really does have a structure in the middle around the zone. Mind you, the zone is on the bottom. The zone is in the basement, not the penthouse. But it still has the twin apartments surrounding the zone. Very much high ground centered map. Like if you have control of the zone, you have that high ground. And that just makes breaking back in, taking control of the zone when you're defending, just makes it so much more difficult because of that.
I'm mad. I just had to sit here while you lied about loving Birthday Cake, and now I have to sit here while you compare Ship Shape to Flounder Heights. They're not the same. They're almost complete opposites.
Look at this map. Look at this. Do you not see the similarities?
It is complete opposite. Like you said, the zone is in the basement. That's completely different from on top of the skyscrapers.
It's still a high ground center. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there just because there is a heavy splatling on the map. Hold the phone. This is history. This is we're about to have a good time here, and they're winning, so that makes it a double good time.
Ooh, yeah, we're seeing Snicker up on this heavy here, moving up, being pretty aggressive with it, actually. Getting members of Orcale out of this corner here, just continuing to move up with the rest of their team. Upcurrent is way in there, up in the enemy spawn. We see the Brella coming out. We see the Zuka coming out. That's 2 down off of Orcale. That's 3 down off of Orcale.
Oh my gosh. Upcurrent, like, first of all, Upcurrent is absolutely going ham here, shutting down Orcale before they can even get started. But I want to kind of break down these comps right here, because not only do we have the heavy splatling, right, but we also have that paired with the Tentabrella, Bazooka. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Tentabrella Bazooka, and then paired with their usual Mint and Bucket. We're going to be seeing the Reef Slider coming out from Orcale, which is paired with that Dreadringer. Also going to be paired with a Stamp. pretty common. But then that's going to be paired with that Stringer and the Rapid Blaster. Just like the chip combo is insane for Oracle. But just the absolute zone control right now is in Upcurrent's favor. Like the tent, the heavy, and then we saw that Bucket just absolutely going ham underneath the ledge here. Just they're locking down the zone from 100 to 0, not letting Oracle touch it.
I believe it was stalled for a little bit there, but Upcurrent just, they could not be taken down.
Like whether it looks like Flounder Heights or not is just completely irrelevant. Upcurrent just like, yeah, we're done with that. Let's move on to the next one.
That's exactly how they felt about our argument. They're like, we're going to stop these guys from talking. We're just going to win.
We're just going to win. But I will say, just with the heavy Splatling, and then having the Tentacle just holding space in the middle right there. And then, of course, we have the double chip, the double ledge camping of the... I'm pretty sure that Minty Decavitator even got up into the Oracle spawn on the left side there. So just they were up there. They were in the base. They were completely taking control of the ship-shaped cargo code. And I think it just really exemplified how difficult it is to break back in when you're on the back foot, just because you go from kind of a mid ground to you have to drop into low ground and then deal with absolute high ground. Like it is absolutely tough. It is so tough.
I mean, they figured it out soon enough. They were able to push in like right at the beginning there, getting those picks, getting all that space for them. Just goodness, they were like 10 seconds in and they were already pushed halfway to the enemy spawn.
All right, but we're going to be going to tower control on Undertow Tower.
Undertow Tower.
I got momentarily confused because now both teams are bringing out the Vanilla Bucket and the Minty Decapitator. Oracle is the one that had the bow and the Rapid Bucket. That much I remember. So heavy and the Tentacle are sticking. In fact, all of Upcurrent's comp is pretty much the same here. I think just really... Ooh, but no, the decaf getting a nice splat right there on the left. I was going to say, and getting another one. Wait, no, that was Upcurrent. Never mind. I'm getting so confused here. It is just the heavy remaining. So Oracle actually flipping the tables here with the Inkjet on hand, going to be taking the first points of the board.
Yeah, we're seeing these specials come out, that Inkjet and that Whale there with bolts on the tower now, just getting some points down. Looks like the rest of Upcurrent is right on that tower, though, just aiming at it, getting another pick there. We see Snicker up on this left side, just trying to bait out that sword player and able to get that pick. They are still in mid there, still being pretty aggressive. We don't usually see a heavy so pushed forward.
See, I gotta say, like, it was
yeah, you do that.
That's true. I do that. But I was gonna say it was a surprising pick to see heavy on shift shape, particularly zones, because of how difficult it is to break back in when you don't have the zone. Like heavy just kind of struggles there. Undertow Tower, on the other hand, heavy Splatling thrives. It has so much cover to work around. It can just get up on. We saw them. They are pushed up on the left side, and they have the range kind of to contest because of Undertow's narrowness in the middle here. Upcurrent is like just like really pushing. No, wait, no. They're trying to break in. They finally take down Oracle, and now we're gonna see the heavy Splatling in their element, because once they're on that tower between the Sprinkler and the Wave Breaker, you need strikes to push them off. You are not going to be able to push them off with just your main weapon, unless you're a bow, of course.
Yeah, we're seeing 3 up now for Upcurrent, taking this tower here. We see Bolts really getting some picks here, just able to aim at the tower. Can't really be moved from this position here. They do drop down, however, just trying to push the tower forward with the rest of their team. We see Luna here now on this blaster, just trying to get some picks, trying to get some paint down. They do have the Inkjet at the ready, but not using it quite yet. They do get taken down, however, by the decav.
That's right. There's kind of a skirmish there in the corner here. We did see Oracle, like they stopped the push, but then Upcurrent came back and they were able to just really just keep that control. They didn't let Oracle run too far from with it. And then with the bubble right here, like that's just going to be so much free points. They're just going to be ticking through the checkpoint and they're going to be taking control of it. I think as soon as that bubble goes out, it's going to be a different story. No, never mind. They have a miniature bubble in the fact that it's a Tentaprella. That is going to be a nice 3 down. No, I'm sorry, 4 down. Followed up with the Zuga there, just absolutely crushing Oracle right there.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be holding on to the tower, and the rest of the team is going to clean up. That's going to be a nice KO. They're ready to move on. They're like, we see you, and we're done.
Goodness. I was really thinking it was going to be a big back and forth there because Oracle was being pretty aggressive at the beginning there, I'm mad. We saw them getting those picks. We saw them getting that tower. I think it got to 62 before it got in Upcurrent's control.
No, I think like that comp change was definitely something they needed. I think they weren't quite prepared for what Upcurrent was going to bring to them in the first match, but then once they had, you know, a bit of a game plan, see what they were bringing to the table, they swapped it up and they were ready to go. But still, just they did have that nice opening push. But I think as soon as they kind of got stalled out and they were backed off, is like that's when Upcurrent really got in their element. Like once again, we saw once they had control, they were able to just keep pushing it and pushing and pushing and gaining more and more space from Oracle, up to the point where they were right underneath the spawn. And once they were there, just we couldn't push them out. They were stuck.
And that's exactly what happened, IMAD. And because it's best of 3, that is the end of round 3 for these two teams. That will go to Upcurrent.
Indeed, indeed. Looking at the score here, it does look like Upcurrent. Oh, no, that was Upcurrent's first victory. They did lose to Serves Up and $eyed emoji. I don't know what you would call that, but yes, they did go. Yeah, just Serves Up. Wait, I'm trying to.
Yeah, I don't like reading these either.
So who's round 2? Is it the left column or the top column? I'm confused. I'm gonna look at Sendu, just kind of reorient myself.
No. You just have to go off of Upcurrent just 1.
Oh, you're right. So yeah, so Upcurrent, that was their first victory.
Yes, 2-0 against Oracle.
Yeah, and it looks like Oracle is not. Yeah, did not have a good run in groups, but that's okay. They have an opportunity because it is like pretty much everyone makes bracket, so they have an opportunity to crush it in whichever bracket they end up.
Yeah, they could take it back.
Heck yeah. Yes. Left is first, top is second. Got it. All right, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. But anywho, that was. I'm happy we got to see Heavy Splatling. I'm happy we got to see Heavy Splatling do well. I know
happy. You are.
But that is unfortunately going to be the end of the group stage. So we're going to be going to a short break as we get set up for our top cut, our bracket. And so yeah, stay tuned, stay hydrated, and we'll be right back. And hello everyone, welcome back. We are getting ready to start our top cut of Great White. I guess that is technically top cut, but it's our bracket. It's our Great White bracket. It is the top cut. First up, we're gonna take a look at this nice little bracket here. Up here in our top 2, 4, 6 top players, we have a lot of people. I'm not gonna. Oh, OctoP. We recognize OctoP. We're gonna be seeing Pollo versus Lunchbox, but shoutouts to OctoP. I saw them play something recently, and I can't remember what it was, but they did great. These look like a lot of pickup names, so until we actually see them in action, I'm not gonna hazard a guess of what they're gonna be bringing to the table.
I was just gonna let you keep yapping. I was learning so much from you.
I have been told that I am a certified yapper for sure. And if you don't know who I am, it is I, Mad Gamer II, and once again joined by the lovely Miss Pixie6.
Hello. I'm ready to see Pollo versus Lunchbox.
Ooh, Pollo versus Lunchbox. Ooh, Pollo, we have tacos. Pollo tacos.
Yes, we do.
The exclamation point makes it so that you're required to say tacos every time we see their name.
Yes, say it real excited.
Exactly.
You're especially going to be real excited when you see that we're going to be on Mahi Mahi for a Splatzones match first up in this top cut.
Ooh. Talk about favorite map modes. This is the favorite map mode of the Miss Pixie6.
Yeah, I think it's just for six-pack yolks as a team. This is our favorite map mode because we can run an arrow spray and do reef slider cheese with it. Any map that you can do reef slider cheese with is a good map in my book.
So true, bestie, so true. Indeed. Okay, so yeah, talking about splat zones on Mahi Mahi. Pollo and Lunchbox. Pollo in the Lunchbox.
Pollo in the Lunchbox.
Pollo in the Lunchbox. We're not quite sure what they're going to be bringing. We haven't seen them in action just yet. However, things to watch out for. I feel like there's some certain things you can kind of honestly expect to see when you get into the top bracket here. I feel like Pencil is a safe bet. I think Bucket is a safe bet, especially for zones. I'm curious to see if we see Stamper is one of those weapons that's very good but very hard to use. So it's always, even though it's like, because it's so good, it's like you can't always guarantee to see it. Decaf on the other hand, Decaf might be a surefire pick just because again it is zones and it also very flat, and also Decaf is just so good.
I was just going to say, Imad, that I haven't seen as many decavs as I usually have seen in these sorts of tournaments. I'm wondering if that pick is kind of falling off, which is interesting because I've always heard that it's so overpowered with how just nimble it is, how well it gets around things. And then with that bubble, you can just be so aggressive and really shark into the enemy lines and then pop it and then just have all that space to yourself.
No, I think that's the thing that a lot of people have found. I was like, it is very good for sure, but it is far from being overpowered. I think a lot of the weaknesses that kind of balance it out, people have gotten better at exploiting those weaknesses. Yes, it does really good at rushing in and getting around corners, but it still has a bit of a wind up. It still doesn't paint the greatest. It has some good mid-range chip damage, but it does require line of sight to engage. So things like Makamar, I can't remember if we did see. No, we didn't see.
We saw Makamart.
We saw Makamart. I don't know if we saw a decaf on the Makamart, but we did see Makamart. We saw the decaf on Ship Shape, which is another good pick. But I do not believe we'll be seeing any decaf on this set. However, I'm curious by the double 52. We're seeing both teams pick up the 52, and I think we even saw 52 in one of our previous matches as well. That is not a weapon that has been, I guess, popular, but still pretty strong. Is a good balanced weapon.
I was going to say the 52 is a pretty solid pick for any map mode. It just, it does what it can. It's solid. It gets the picks. It gets the job done. Imad. It does what it wants when it wants to. You don't really have to follow it up with anything because it's got that wall. So just seeing it on both sides is just a solid pick.
Absolutely, and I think especially for Mahi, when you do have both sides running that pencil there, having the splash wall just allows is a short range shooter. It doesn't have a whole lot of range. It can't directly deal with a pencil like that, but when it has a wall, it can kind of just take space for free, and not necessarily for free, but it just takes space and not be immediately gunned down by said pencil. Now, looking into this, we do see Lunchbox taking control and really pushing on in to Pollo's base. We saw Pollo have quite a good hold before, but now they're the ones on the back foot. 52s on both sides, just taking down. And talking about a bubbler, the junior does go in, and a nice throw from the hammer. And oh no, the 52 gets the splat and survives for 2 seconds, and then it's gone. All right, so now Pollo is back in control once again with Lunchbox with a nice and a pretty substantial lead, I must say.
Yeah, we see Pollo here in control of mid now. They've got a lot of paint on the ground. 2 of them just went down, however. Lunchbox pushing back into mid. We see them all over the place. Taco's just trying to survive. They get taken down. We see the bucket here just pushing on up, getting some bombs out. They do have strikes at the ready, but they don't really need them right now. They already have the zone. They already have this control. They are really keeping Pollo from getting anywhere close to it.
We did see 2 of Lunchbox go down, but just because of the position of the last 2 remaining players, they were able to stall out for quite a bit of time. They did lose those other 2 players, however, and then Pollo did take control of the zone, but still kept their lead, put on quite a bit of penalty, and within 2 seconds, already Pollo was losing 2 of their own players. Strikes are going to be coming out, and the bucket, Epoch, is going to be... Oh no, the bubbler. The big bubbler just saved the zone. They were so close to getting the zone cap for Lunchbox once again, but already Pollo is still so much paint out here. It is an orange map right here, 6. It is an orange map, and they are really pushing in and getting close to taking that lead back.
Yeah, I'm really watching the gameplay from Tacos on the side of Pollo here. Just for a junior, they have been pretty aggressive. They have been pushed up, just able to keep paint down for the rest of their team to move through, but also pretty aggressive bubble plays, just moving really far forward and then popping it. We see it now kind of on the defensive, just trying to hold the zone for their team as Lunchbox is able to cap it.
He didn't decap it, but Pollo taking a nice... Well, there's still quite a bit of penalty for Lunchbox to work through, but once they do, it is not too far off from taking the bag. In fact, we are getting dangerously close to knockout territory as well. We are getting close to that 30-point mark. And Lunchbox, they do have quite a bit of hold. They have the strikes on hand. Pollo is going to be popping that cooler. 52 does go down, and the bubbler, it gets popped as well, but the strikes are there to counter it. It was not on the zone. They're just kind of scrambling. They do get the 2. They do get the zone, so they do keep the lead. Last one, the pencil is going to be taking the safe distance out, and they're just, no, they're going to be looking for space, and the Zuka's going to get popped here.
You said that Whiper player, the best 4K, just surviving against that Zuka strike right there. That was really great. They're still surviving over here on the right side, just kind of keeping paint down. We saw them just being pretty aggressive, but now they're just going to have to survive against the 52 and this whale coming out from Ziana, I believe, and they do go down to a bomb, however, as Pollo is still in control of the zone.
Yeah, it was a bit of an unfortunate trade for Lunchbox there. Like, that was the junior taking out the 52, did get the zone back, but they did lose 3 of their members. Like, they're with where Pollo is sitting right now, like, every trade tends to be a little bit more in their favor, so Lunchbox can't really afford to get the trades because they need to break out. Like, again, look at how orange this map is. So far, Pollo has done a fantastic job, and perhaps it is due to having a junior on the side, but just anytime they have control of the zone, they have control of everything in mid. They have control of the whole map, the whole resort. It is theirs. They have a private reservation.
Looks like Lost there was trying to break back in using that roller to try and get a pick, but no, they got taken down, and this first match goes to Pollo.
Pollo taking a very nice game 1 here. It was not a steamroll by any chance. Like, Lunchbox had so many good takebacks into mid there. I think it's just like, once they did have control of zone, you tend to see this is like, they're really good at taking the zone, but not as good about keeping control of it. And I'm trying to like process, like, was that a comp thing? Was it just the weapons they were paired against better at holding that space than they were? Or is it just kind of a decision thing? Like, they just took one too many fights they maybe shouldn't have taken, and then just were left at a deficit with it? I don't know. I think definitely the junior was a pretty crucial for just holding that space that Pollo had. I think once again, just between the paint output and the bubbler, just they got a lot done for Pollo, and they were able to just make things easier for their front lines to move around.
Yes, I completely agree, Imad. That was a good pick for Mahi zones. Just, I think the smaller map size just lends to having a paint weapon like that. Just really have control over it, and that's what we saw here. Now, on something like Rainmaker on Scorched Gorge, I don't know if a junior is going to be just as helpful because the map is so massive in comparison.
And, well, true. I think you're right there. I think the double for the fact that is Rainmaker. Bubbler on Rainmaker can be helpful, but I think you're right. It doesn't have quite as much value as it would for zones or even like Clambless or something. So it's interesting. We'll see if they're decided keep with it. The Carbon Roller was the Carbon Roller on Pollo? I'm trying to remember. Because if the Carbon Roller is paired with the Junior, that is such a good combo, because having the Junior means the Carbon Roller can have space to move about. If the Carbon Roller is against the Junior, then, well, that's not going to be fun, because then you have the opposite as a problem.
I believe they were on Lunchbox, but I don't think they ever had any like 1v1s with the Junior.
Gotcha. I was more along the lines of, not so that they would go 1-to-1 against the Junior, but the fact that there's a Junior, the fact that the Junior exists means that the roller kit doesn't get to exist as much, just because they can't move around a bit.
That's fair. I believe that's what we saw at the last second there in the last match with that roller, just trying to get in, trying to get some kind of value, trying to get a pick, and just being completely shut down by the lack of paint.
Exactly. Ooh, okay.
What the Luna Blaster?
I was just about to say, I was looking at the Luna Blaster, Neo Luna Blaster with Stamp. And then you pair that with the vanilla, the Splat Charger, the Scope Charger. That has the Ink Vac. Ink Vac is good for a Rainmaker. It allows for some pretty safe pushes, but the Luna Blaster, I'm intrigued. I'm looking to see Luna Blaster's moving in. They are getting some space here. They are looking for some prime positioning. The Rainmaker, unfortunately, is going to be taken down. So where is the Luna Blaster going to be going? That is what we're going to find out, folks.
We're seeing Your Love here getting a pick, pushing up onto the enemy ramp, just trying to get some space for Tacos to get this Rainmaker in. Oh, we see the Vac come out as well, just keeping them extra safe here. We see one is down off of Lunchbox, one is down off of Pollo. This push is still continuing to go forward. However, we see members of Pollo kind of falling back here now that Lost has retaken this ramp.
That was a pretty nice flat by the Carbon Roller. Unfortunately, don't grab the last member, and so Tacos is just going to be running it all the way to the 4-3 mark right there. They did get the nice 2 down with the Zuka budgets. With Pollo picking up the Rainmaker, that almost negated that advantage they had here, because they just had it stalled enough time for the rest of Pollo to come back, and they are still in control of mid. Lunchbox is going to be moving in fairly slowly. They are going to have to watch that Rainmaker, because with how cheeky the Luna Blaster has been, who knows who could be flanking behind. But they're going to be locking things down, making sure they can't pick it up, and just letting it reset right here. They're going to be able to get a nice reset, but then the Zuka comes in and just takes one down. 2 down now, and so now Pollo going to be able to pick it up again.
Yeah, I think Lunchbox is going to be in a tough spot here, because yes, they do have to play pretty defensively against things like the Luna Blaster being so cheeky, but that's going to put them on the back foot unless they can figure out a play to try and be more aggressive, to try and get those picks. And especially when they have something like a roller to try and move more forward, playing back so far is just not going to help them.
I would say, like, they're running to the same problem that they had last, with just the amount of paint that Pollo is putting out is orange. It's an orange map once again, and when you have a lot of enemy ink out, that just really limits where that roller can be, because they thrive on being able to shark, being able to come in from the side and catch you unawares. But if you know exactly where they are, well, then that ruins their surprise. It ruins their advantage that they have here.
Exactly. Now we're seeing members of Pollo pushing onto the enemy ramp, just moving up a little few steps at a time. We see the best 4K pulling out this hammer. That's the blaster. They are getting a pick, but they do get taken down rather fast as all members of Lunchbox are up in this corner. We see Tacos here using that back to their advantage to move up a little bit farther. They are getting some more points up. They get it pushed to 22, I'm mad.
That is a huge... Oh, okay. Huge play from... Oh, still going. All right. Huge play from Pollo. Pop in the back. Protecting the Rainmaker. Getting it not only first to 22, right? But then also popping it with the Inkvac shot to take down 3 of the members. Mind you, the Zuka almost clutched it. It did take down the first person to pick it up. But they were still had enough space, enough control to be able to pick it up again and take it to 8. That is so hard to come back from on Scorch Scourge. Like, just getting into that gauntlet itself, getting it to 20 points is a huge lead. Getting it to 8, oh my goodness. Lunchbox is going to have an uphill battle for sure.
Yes, and it looks like they're kind of scrambling now, I'm mad, just trying to get close to that Rainmaker. It is popped here, but Pollo is in control of mid right near. You see it, it's orange. Like you were saying before, it is all orange in the center here. We see Your Love trying to get some paint down over there, trying to get that pick, but they did not get it, unfortunately. We see Tacos here with the Rainmaker pushing up. The rest of their team kind of behind them right now, not really as aggressive as they had once been, but they don't really need to be, Ahmed. They have the lead.
I was about to say, with a lead like that and only 30 seconds left, the most tactical advantage that Pollo or the most tactical thing that Pollo could do right now is just hold it in this corner. It is about as far from their own space as it can be while still being safe. It does look like they reset it here, and it is going to be Lunchbox with the pop here. That is going to be a lot of... Look at that. This map just swapped from orange to purple in the span of 2 seconds. Now they're going to have to take on... They do. They take on Luna. That could have been the end of that push right there. 2 members of Pollo are down, but the vacuum is coming out. If they can survive the vacuum, that's huge. And so they have an opportunity. They just got it. Nope, never mind. They're dead.
Fizney had that Rainmaker. They were trying to survive. They survived against that back shot, but no, they did get taken down right there at the end before they were able to push it even to 1 point.
It was funny. They were literally assassinated by that charger. Just like, they missed with the Inkvac shot, but they were able to live long enough to back up, and then they poked their head out a little too far and then just got it headed off by the charger.
Yeah, that's all she wrote, Ahmed.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah, it looks like this is also a best of 3. So the team moving forward will be Pollo for this top cut. Ahmed, I believe that is the end for you and me.
Yes, indeed. And with that, we will have a new set of commentators to finish up the Great White Bracket for you all in the round 2. But in the meantime, 6, where can the good people find you?
I think you all should go onto bluesky.com and look up Six Pack Yolks. That is my team. They are the best. Please follow them. We write a lot of meme posts, and we think you would enjoy them. Ahmed, where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me in all the usual places at IMadGamerII. You can also find me here on IPL doing commentary just like this, but you can also find me once a month at Twin Squiddies in the Minneapolis area for your local LAN shenanigans and funs and whatnot. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for watching. We'll be passing it off to our next set of commentators, the lovely Grace and the wonderful Kion.
True.
So yeah, stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Hello everybody and welcome to SOS 180. It is Top Cut time. We are resuming Top Cut from where we last left off. News out of Commentators. My name is Kyon. On the other side, did I get it right? No, other direction. It's Grace. Grace, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good now that I'm here with you, Kyon. Oh my goodness. Aww. Oh my god, this is so crazy.
I know. I did. Look, you know, this is all pure vibes. It's nighttime, which means I'm going cuckoo right now. That's actually kind of how my brain's working, Grace. Maybe the other teams that we're seeing here. Okay, it's Auntie or Auntie. That I'm gonna get one of those two pronunciations right. It's but either way, it's Auntie versus OctoPi. OctoPi is here, Grace.
Oh my gosh, we were just fangirling about OctoPi being here right now. I love gay people. This is the best night of my life. I love commentating OctoPi. Like, it's always like a killer cast of people whenever I see them. Like, you all know Luna, 5th Gen, Potato, Rose, Acing. Like, oh, I'm just so happy to see them here, especially for the Ludi season. Like, I wonder what they're gonna get seeded. Wink, wink at Toma, who is on the seeding staff and watching this right now. Wink, wink. I wonder what you're gonna seed them. But
so as an outside person looking in, I don't exactly know how the Ludi seating works, and I will ask that question. I'll have to punt that for another time because we're about to start right now. Actually, Auntie's just going right onto it. Auntie's gonna be on the outside. Bravo side, OctoPi. Of course, it's Brine Water Zones. You are not being misled. Welcome everybody. Some very familiar names, by the way, from Auntie who are keeping track. JJ, Stormy, Swish, and Case leading up this roster. We take a look at the weapons. Anything that sticks out to you at all, Grace?
I mean, I'm happy to see the Tri-Slosher on the side of OctoPi, but we kind of know their roster, kind of what they're going for here. I know Rose plays Tri a lot of the time here, but I think the E-Lid is also interesting as well. But for Brine Water, you already know how it goes. And I mean, Kyon, we see Swish here trying to get an early pick here on this E-Leader, but not quite going to be able to get it. The Crab's going to pop pretty early, though, which is good for them, along with the strikes here, Kyon. They've got that coordination down against OctoPi here, which arguably you would try to say is the more experienced team here. They've been playing together for a while, despite the break. But Auntie here is coming out swinging, and they've already got the lead.
Yeah, already getting a good lead, as you noted there too. Almost the coordination pretty much on point for OctoPi, who, as you noted, they're a very experienced team, as that's a wipeout that's going to be on the board. JJ and Swish moving up ahead, and there you go. There's that Brine Water Zones lockout that's pretty much going to be in play there. 5th Gen's just trying to throw out as much paint as they can with the Stamper, with the Crab. But it looks like Auntie's getting this pretty much on lock here at this stage. It's going to be a battle of dueling Crabs. One Crab does go down, but there is the nice little flip over there from OctoPi. At least they get the zone split the other direction. So still early on the timer, but that's a great start for Auntie here, Grace.
And I've got to appreciate, I mean, the bobbing and weaving that happened there with Auntie. They did lose the zone here. And I mean, we see the members of OctoPi kind of pushing in here. But despite that, they kind of held their ground there in mid, and I mean, we see that displayed because they just flipped the zone right back into their favor. Despite the E-Leader breathing down their neck here, Stormy, oh, so sorry, Stormy. I was about to call out your great positioning, but you just got picked off, man. That's unfortunate.
That E-Leader had their sights on Stormy there, and right as you had to note them, Grace was just like, all right, no, we got to get the 5th sense right out of the gate there. By the way, Mawile is just trying to paint around the corner there, but Cakes is just on the other side. There's that crab tank being used. A lot of paint being dished out there as we speak. There's that cooler being chucked in there, but this is gonna be penalty points freed up from OctoP. One member going down on both sides right away. Rose gets a trade on the Swish. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but it values OctoP. There's gonna be the lead change just like that. JJ is just trying to swim right through, cuts down the E-Leader. 1077 going down on top of it, and Auntie will get the zones back, but a lead change just for OctoP, and OctoP is kicking off to another gear once again, Grace.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty back and forth despite that that wipe that we kind of saw in the beginning there for OctoP. But I mean, the members of Auntie, again, they're still coming out swinging against OctoP here. I mean, they're putting a bunch of specials into this lockout situation here. They know that the penalty's ticking down here, Keon, so they're like, let's just try to extend it. I know that they've got their specials online. The cooler just got popped there from that try. The strikes are coming out as well onto that zone. That can insta-flip it if you do it right there, but they aren't quite able to follow up off of it. I mean, the crab's coming out too here, Keon, and I mean, their decal is going to go down as well, but the crab cannot paint that zone with their teammates there, so the lead is going to switch onto the side of Auntie. But I mean, OctoP is going to cap the zone, so it's still kind of anyone's game.
And Grace, you know how all of us here in the spectator, and of course the commentary does, are love to see a very close game. I'm sure both teams are already having to face a nail biter of a game so far there. Look at the points, 17 to 14 points remain being the difference there. Crab tank being used by Cakes trying to defend as much of the zone as they could, but they're going to go down just like that. Two members are up and running for both teams there, but Auntie right away with the 14 points remaining, and they're still taking down on these penalty points. Wavebreaker being chucked out into the zone, which should possibly disperse Auntie, but they're not going to pay too much mind to it. The bubble being used to help protect the crew. About 1:10 left here. Grace, back and forth we go. No one really breaking through the penalty points quite yet.
Yeah, but I mean, Auntie here, none of them went down there into that retake from OctoP. And I mean, sure, they lost the zone. Sure, they're a little bit displaced, but they're staying in each other's zone of influences. Like, they're being able to fight together despite all of that. They're backing up so that they don't take any fights alone. And I mean, this crab...
Oh, man.
The crab from 5th Gen is kind of going to go against everything I just said there, getting some crazy picks. But again, like, the members of Auntie, they have shown that they can get back in despite these situations. And I mean, now that I say that, JJ's gonna like solo cap the zone there as decav? Okay.
We see you there, JJ. While 5th Gen was just busy mowing down 3 players and just proving you wrong, just like that there, Grace. JJ's using that decav. A lot of paint spread, by the way. Kind of an underrated thing about the decav on top of it, so that actually allowed the zone split to be going the other direction just like that. We're about 10 seconds left to go. OctoP is going to be close to breaking through these penalty points. They're going to be approaching overtime here shortly. JJ is probably going to be snuffed there by the toxic miss, having to move backwards as we do go into overtime. 16 points left in the penalty box as there's the trip check. Should be forcing the neutral here. Yes, JJ just trying to wrestle in, going in by themselves. They do trade for 2, and that's all it's going to be. Auntie cleans everything up, and very close back and forth game so far here in the second round of Great White Brackets, but it's going to be the first game going to Auntie there, Grace.
For sure. I mean, I'm thinking about picking apart maybe the weapon choices there, because I think it felt like anyone's game there, Keon. I mean, a lot of back and forth all the time. So then when you lose a match like that, you're like, well, heck, let's lab it out a little bit. Was it the comp? Was it micro decisions? Like, what kind of went wrong there? And I want to pick your brain a little bit, Keon, about the E-Leader pick from OctoP. I mean, it is... Oh my gosh, the Splatoon screen. This is so beautiful. No, go back. No, okay. No, go back, Justin. Love you. But I know it's really good on that map mode, but I feel like it can be tough when you're going against a very hyper-aggressive comp and when your teammates are trying to push up. I feel like E-Leader is very slow inherently, but what do you think about that in the comp specifically?
The funny thing is, you hit the nail exactly with where I was going at. It's Brine Water Zones. It's a perfect map to dish out E-Leader, and both teams are going to know that right away from the first game. And there is some comfort level to using it. You obviously know the elephant in the room in the back line being the pencil of course, any player would have wanted to dish out, but they opted for that E-leader. And I honestly, I don't fault that pick so much there. I know we want to pick apart the comp. Of course, it's SOS. You know, imagine Ludi warm-ups there too on top of it. So you were thinking, okay, let's see if this works. Probably, maybe not. We may not even see it next map, which should be Ink Block Clan Blitz coming up. So I don't expect that E-leader to come back in theory. They're gonna prove me wrong though. Don't you worry about that one, Grace. There's still time.
Yeah, and I mean, as for other comp picks there, I'd be happy to see the Tri-Slosher come back, especially because on Inkblot it is so powerful on the stacks, on the ledges, in bats even too. Like there's just so much like what's like a fancy word, levels? I don't know, that's not very fancy, Kyon.
Close enough.
That's kind of there's a like ledges, levels, stuff that'd be really good for Tri there. But my goodness, Kyon, we have to see our bets. Place your bets in the chat.
All right, so I'm gonna bet a nickel right away that we're not gonna see the E-leader. You're probably gonna bet the other nickel. And let's take a look at 1077 there. You know, E-leader was a myth, but ballpoint kind of a throwback actually to previous metas. Actually, forget anything that I was thinking about, because you know how 5th gen had the crab tank. Forget it. They just went almost half the competition there. And I do think the heavy headed, which we have not seen so far, unless my mind is going ugly here at this time of the night, is being dished out here from Auntie. Trip Strikes, to no surprise, is being farmed on Maneo Splash, and it's just being used right away. It's just going to build some space, but either way, both teams gathering clams here, Grace.
Yeah, and I mean, interesting about that ballpoint pick. I know you talked about it, Kyon, but I want to talk about it some more, because I'm really interested in how they're going to be able to follow up on the chip that Inkjet kind of inevitably causes there. But Kyon, they don't want me talking about these comps for too long, because the members of Auntie are already going to be scoring. Stormy fighting for their life here, trying to run away here on this heavy edit. But I mean, their teammates are going to be able to follow up, getting a trade there in mid. But again, Kyon, I mean, they were early there to score just a little bit, but dare I say, you just kind of gave them a free power clam. So I don't know.
I mean, the typical fundamentals I've always heard is try to follow with with the power clam. If not, well, okay, now defend with your might, as you know there too, giving the free power clam, which I think there are some varying degrees of thought. Either we can just keep it behind and still farm power clam that themselves, or just see if you can shut down, which I think they might be reading my mind here about a few steps ahead. Oh yeah, they certainly are. OctoPi already slashing out too. There is JJ trying to make something happen, but it is going to just go with the trade, but they will pick up the power claim, and I think in an attempt to keep it alive. Trip Strikes is being thrown in that direction, I think trying to deter Auntie from picking it up, which it's not going to do a whole lot there. So the push ultimately is slowed down, Grace.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a huge scrap fest, if I were to quote one Skepidillions here in mid right now. Getting that huge pick on Stormy, though, taking out the backline is really the start to any push, I feel like. And I mean, well, not that heavy edit. Okay, they're attacking me. Heavy edit's an anchoring weapon. There we go. I start sweating profusely. But again here, this try is going to be really crucial here on these stacks. If they're able to get those kills, they're able to get those angles, that's going to be able to open up those pushes. The Whale with the Inkjet is a really smart combo. Going to be able to pick off the one making the try strikes there. Stormy not able to follow up off of their teammates' picks there, because they're still respawning here. They just respawn back into the fight. And I mean, is that good clam going to get in kill? It does. And more clams coming in from the try, which is great here. But, I mean, JJ here already on that wall, already on that area there on the side of OctoPi. I mean, still a good push, but, I mean, they gave a lot of room there for Auntie to work with.
Honestly, still plenty of room, still plenty of time, all things considered there for Auntie to make work out of, especially if JJ is just doing something like that, throwing out a few quick slashes, gets two by themselves. Okay, JJ's just showing off. JJ's just showing off right now. There's a good little triple there from JJ. There is still gonna be no push, so the follow-up gonna be a little bit slow, but that's just as fine. They give themselves territory to work with. Everybody's just gonna be moving up forward. Their swish, no, just going a little too far up, just collapse onto 5th gen and OctoPi, and they're just going to slow the push just a tiny bit, take it a few steps back, and then we get to see Cakes just sneaking onto that side. Will do the rest of OctoPi even know it? They do not. There's going to be a crab tank waiting for them. No, it's just going to be a dualies. They're going to actually two members are just going to go down, so forget that idea. There's the crab tank. They do shut down the crab tank. It was just more of a deterrent, I suppose. And just like that, they actually broke the barrier, but the follow-up isn't quite there, Grace.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they were a little bit desynced on that push. Maybe it was a bit of a, oh, are we going yet? Oh, I should just keep this area here in the back so that I can stall for y'all to come in. But their teammates weren't quite ready yet. It could have been a case of the clam economy, if you will. I'm like holding my hand up right now like an Italian, you know what I mean? Like the little the thing, the clam economy, which is really more important than you'd think here. JJ here trying to get another triple. They did not quite get their rest in peace. But still, the members here of Auntie still have a really, really good hold of mid, and I mean, we can see them building that power clamp. They threw it back to Stormy. They're like, I don't want that. I'm trying to crab here on this stack here from Cakes, but I mean, they still have mid, but it's a bit of a fight even so, because OctoPi is like, well, we don't technically have to make another push here. I mean, we could, but why don't we just keep Auntie out for the time being?
I can see a theory here where you can just stall out Auntie for about maybe 30 more seconds. They can also go for a sneaky push for themselves. There is going to be a bit of a trade there, but going back to my train of thought, again, another train of thought here is you don't really have a big lead. If you do the math real quickly, which I'm trying to do in the middle of the night, you have probably 1+2 clams for the lead change there. So things still pretty dire, but 1077 with the ballpoint. You know, you highlighted the ballpoint. You want to talk about it so much there, Grace. Maybe this is the time to do though, because 1077 just got a few quick picks there with the inkjet. There is going to be one pick there. Overtime is in play, but there's 2 members down. Actually, there is a bit of a brawl that's happening across the board, back at their own base. Cakes has to be the one to throw in that power clamp to the finish line. Going to be halfway through OT, and there is a trade of buckets, so to speak. There has to be a sneaky push. They're actually just one down. All right, forget that idea. There goes Auntie. OctoPi gets the victory just like that here. Grace, we're on to game 3.
And you know, I'm always happy to see a game 3 here, Kyon. But,
oh yeah.
I mean, man, I never thought I'd see a time where there's no pencils. I mean, hallelujah, there's no pencils there. But ballpoint, I'm very happy to see it. And I mean, it is such an interesting, fun pick, especially because I've been happy to see Inkjet making a bit of a resurgence here, as well as like Crab. Like, I'm seeing less Zukas, I feel like. And more like Crabs, more Inkjets, like those kind of picks. So happy to see it playing out here, and good opportunity for the members of OctoPi and Auntie respectively to kind of test out those comps, because I feel like Inkjet kind of got sidelined for a bit in the Splatoon 3 comps, like that kind of meta world. So it's kind of some like growing pains, I feel like, with a lot of comps running it.
That oh, definitely. Now, Grace, I've been informed of a quick of a bird telling us somewhere in the other distance. You can tell it's nighttime for me, Grace, so you can tell where my mind's kind of fuzzing up a bit. We've been informed that 1077 is potato, actually, from OctoPi. So we gotta get that clarity out there for those who are wondering. We're in total zen right now. I actually want to mimic you. The more I see it, you can tell how much life I'm trying to give myself here, because normally I'm not up this late. I like to think. No, I joke. I am actually still up at this stage. But yeah, by the way, going back to what with your love there, the ballpoint is such a fascinating pick. In the time where we don't see pencil, it's fun to see a quick little throwback back to the ballpoint land. We go to game number 3. Of course, everybody's a huge fan of game 3. I think I saw that from JJ. Potato, also known as 1077, with a quick change there. Two weapon changes. That's a little brawl, right? With the Inkjet? Did they just want to play Inkjet battles now?
Honestly, I'm here for it. I'm here for the chicken fights. Oh, and Potato going down in that opening is so crucial. I mean, for the members of Auntie, I feel like they're really good at picking out the members of OctoPi that they need to be down in order to make a push kind of happen, in order to kind of break down their defenses there. Picking out targets is so crucial, and I feel like it's a little slept on. I feel like people don't talk about that too much, Kyon. So I wanted to give Auntie their flowers there, because I feel like their openings have been really solid this whole set.
I think, and I'm with you on that one, this entire set here, where I feel like with Auntie, they've busted out of the doors, just running with it, trying to make the most out of the first initial push. Now the question is the follow-up, which, by the way, Cakes gets a nice little pick there on the 5th gem with the Crab, and Mawile and the rest of OctoPi kind of just swimming around right now, looking for room to maneuver. Doing trip strikes at the ready there, has Potato gonna be lurking around, trying to look for picks on that side, and all for the trade of zones. This feels very similar to game number 1 here, Grace, where it's looking like Auntie has some great control of the zone. Speak of my words there. OctoPi decided to get the zones back, and now OctoPi is right now running with it out of the penalty points.
Yeah, and I mean, JJ there with that jump in into the zone, I'm gonna hot take there. I think that was a pretty interesting play. I feel like it's interesting when you kind of have your jump that's a bait a little bit to kind of distract the opponents there, and it worked there for OctoPi because then they were able to get a pick onto OctoPi. I don't remember which member there, but it did give Auntie a bit of an advantage, even if it didn't quite work out there points-wise. But now here in control of the zone, and I mean, we see Stormy getting up that cooler. They are gonna get taken out before they themselves can grab it, which is so huge. But I mean, Swish here is gonna be able to trade out, rather get a pick here onto the Gal. So it's a lot of back and forth. Once again, the strikes again going to be so crucial in capping that zone. But I mean, dare I say, Scrapfest once again, coined by these Skepidillions. I mean, a lot.
Skip's gonna give you your flowers for saying. I love that term for the record too. I always say scrappy fight being the alternative there on top of it, but you know there too. I just love the back and forth that we're seeing between both the teams that we're seeing, because it's felt like that actually kind of for the past two maps there. 14-17. Obviously the Clan Blitz map was just as close, so it feels like both teams get so equally matched there as we do. I think is that overlapping. Is that overlapping world? I think. Okay, I need to make sure it wasn't off into the Matrix there for a hot second. That totally was. That's at least they both were on the same page. I'll give them that. We should be seeing a lead change here from OctoPi coming up here, and it should be the case. There's the lead change just like that. Trip strikes being used by Auntie, but there's going to be very little. Okay, I lied. There was follow-up. I was going to say there was very little follow-up. They just proved me wrong just like that. 2 minutes left to go on the clock. OctoPi takes the lead just like that, Grace.
Listen, what if I put my splash wall next to your splash wall, and then this splash wall is Kiss? That's so crazy. Listen, that's the kind of team coordination, the kind of team love that I want to see here winning these matches. See, Auntie's already going to go 3 down here. Is it because of the splash walls kissing? Definitely. The Brawler here, JJ, again, taking the attention here of the members of OctoPi. That gives their team a little bit of time to come back in here safely. Because the members of OctoPi weren't quite ready to push up yet, they were snuffing out that flank. So again, JJ, they might have still perished in that jump in, but I'm giving them some credit there because I think it was an interesting play. I mean, the strikes are coming out. No dice, not going to be able to cap that zone here, but JJ, come on, going to be able to pop this Inkjet here, putting some pressure onto the back line once again, trying to paint the zone a little bit out too, trying to get a pick onto Rose possibly, but no dice once again here. And the strikes coming out from OctoPi as well here, Kyon, ticking down 10 remaining. If Stormy's going to be able to pop this out, I mean, they are going to pipe the soda, but they're not going to be able to paint the zone. Lone 5th gen Rose, they're getting ganged up on, and that is the game there, Kyon. 2-1, OctoPi up here, and they're going to continue on through Great White.
Well, you know, I've made mentions to how close both teams were. Then OctoPi's like, all right, we kind of scouted what Auntie was doing. They're like, okay, we're good, we're good. Let's just take it home. Honestly, valiant effort from Auntie, all things considered. There, you know, they actually were pretty much neck and neck for. I know they actually have a team page in Sendu actually, yeah. Which I took notice there because it is JJ, Cakes, Velvet, and Divya around this one. They have an assortment of other subs there too. We see Stormy of Persistence fame way back in the day, running out that group, and honestly going toe to toe with a very experienced team in OctoPi. That's still very nice. But the night ends like that for Auntie, all things considered. There, Grace.
Still a really good learning experience there for OctoPi. I mean, maybe Auntie signed up for Ludi and I'm totally blanking. I'm sure somebody in the chat right now is about to mail me a pipe bomb, but still really good practice again for OctoPi and the members of Auntie as well. And I mean, you say Stormy from Persistence fame. I think Stormy's just fame, period. Stormy's been making the rounds, commentating, doing a lot of content. I mean, I'm always happy to see some folks out there who are doing some stuff to kind of put Splatoon on the map a little bit, content-wise.
Oh yeah, definitely. We get to see a beautiful bracket page, by the way, out of Great Whites. And actually, so we are actually waiting on one set, by the way, so we actually do have some time to burn, all things considered here, Grace, because it is the nighttime. We got to get ourselves a little warm up there. But actually, it's gonna be no pun intended. It is actually a close one. It's a close one versus Pollo, which by the way just went final, right on cue. I love just the amazing timing there. That's gonna be the next match, and we will be set to cast here in just a few quick moments, though. Look at that. So Grace, you kind of touched upon like one thing there. This is effectively Ludi warm-ups here. And by the way, in the special 4th week here in February on here for SOS, which we don't normally see see often. So this is actually very valuable practice for really teams that are participating together. And I actually am looking at Auntie's. I do see Auntie or Auntie. Someone is gonna yell at me in chat. I'm gonna be real there with this pronunciation. They actually did sign up for Ludi this upcoming season, though. Again, primary 3 members. They do have a few subs there too. So honestly, if you're going toe to toe with OctoP, that's a great sign.
I mean, that is a very good sign. And I mean, still OctoPi being fresh off of kind of like a break here. I've been seeing them playing a lot of stuff too, but when I saw that tweet, when they were like, guys, we're back, I was like, what's the right word? Jumping for joy. I was spinning around. I was kicking my feet and giggling. I'm so happy. I'm a big OctoPi fan, so happy to see them come out as well. And I'm just happy to see a lot of teams kind of form because of Ludi as well, even if they're like projects, whatever that means. Little weirdos. No, I'm kidding. But like pickups, projects, kind of friends coming together to just play for funsies too was really cool. So I'm happy for SOS to be the place for folks to kind of get practice, because scrims can be tough and kind of awkward, especially if you don't know where you stand. You're like, I don't know what div to look for, so you just play in SOS to get that practice in.
That's actually a very valuable point too, because I think I mentioned OctoPi is also signed up for Ludi there as well. So I think everybody's gonna be really getting everyone getting the practice in, trying to get a feel for not only just for team cohesion, but also which div do they truly belong, which will be, I'm sure, the hot button topic here next week. All of the seating council, I do not envy there. Well, hold on to your hats next week. I will say that much. But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for any teams, even pickups or projects, as you noted there too, which I get. I genuinely do. I'm kind of excited to see how all the teams play here, Grace. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Actually, so we actually do have some time before the next set goes. So if our producer is ready here, which I'm giving them literally 3 seconds for, we do have a quick promo we do want to show you real quick. So let's go ahead and take a look. It's gonna be for the upcoming Canadian LAN.
Come at me.
That is right, everybody. Van Coral is going to be coming up for the Battle BC, taking place March 28th to 30th. They actually do have a Splatoon tournament being held that weekend there. So if you are in Canada and especially local to the Vancouver area, we do recommend you guys sign up. I think if I heard that right too, when I was working in Sendoku last Saturday, Saf's going to be there as well, along with some of the Sea Battle folks. Again, don't quote me on that. I'm sure I'm gonna be course corrected here soon, I swear. But that's from what I heard. So we do recommend if you're in the Canada area or Vancouver area, go attend that LAN. Grace, I think we should be ready for the next matchup here soon, which, by the way, was actually one of the teams that are playing here. It's Pollo and the face of unemployment. Now, Grace, before you, we are being played for fools here. Yes, there are totally 2 members of the face of unemployment here. Only Prosper and Unraged Jeff. Ignore the fact that actually this is a full roster of 4. 2 players, by the way, have decided to not name themselves. Now, why, I think is going to be a funny bit for another time. But Grace, that's our matchup coming up.
This is definitely the names of all time. They're so unemployed, Keon, that they want to 2v4 the entirety of the Great White Bracket, and I cannot blame them.
You know what? That's understandable. We actually we saw Pollo, by the way, in the very first round of Great White Bracket. So for those tuning in, it's your Love Taco Sky and Tactical Nuke Interlude, which is a great long name. I'm not gonna lie, actually. That they took out a Lunchbox. Yes, Lunchbox was the team they took out in round one. We go forward. So we're gonna okay, Grace. I need to do some math here.
Okay.
Going in with 2 less players doesn't seem like the wisest thing. Maybe do you think they're stronger as a team of 2? Do you think they mistakenly signed up for a 2v2 tournament somewhere and then realized, oh wait?
Listen, I mean, it's Prosper and Jeff, so I think they're gonna be just fine. When they're whipping out that sploosh from Jeff, you already know. I mean, you're basically fighting a 4v4 because Jeff is everywhere, everything everywhere all at once. If you think about it a little bit. But you gave Pollo a little bit of spotlight there with their results so far in Great White. I want to give the face of unemployment, even though they are unemployed. I'm side-eyeing you all right now. Anyways, they did really well this Great White too. I mean, they went 2-0 against Serenity in their previous round here, and then they went 2-1 against Serves up there. They are the 3rd seed, so like this is where they're projected to be kind of going right now. But still a great showing all around. Even if you're seeded to be, you know, make a bracket, place somewhere in that bracket, it's still good to actually follow up on that kind of promise.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know what's funny? It's because I actually wanted to look it up because again, it is warm-up season for those who are. If the face of unemployment for some reason signed up as a Ludi team, we're gonna have a lot of questions about trying to sign up with the field too. Pollo, by the way, is actually signed up for Ludi this upcoming season, so this actually is just gonna be results building for this group, which I'm sure that's actually what a lot of the teams that are using this week for, is just to build up some results, trying to appease the seeding council. Hey, look at us, we actually did very well. So we think. But yeah, Pollo's actually been doing a phenomenal job so far leading up to this. Lunchbox was the 2-0 we saw earlier. There was that 2-1, so they're up against the faces of unemployment. So that's should be a lot of fun, honestly, to watch the teams go right at it. And I'm sure both teams gonna get themselves warmed up. Splat Zone Zumami, by the way, is gonna be the leadoff map, if I am not mistaken.
I hope you're not mistaken, because
yeah,
I'm a big fan of it. I think it is a really fun map mode. I like Umami in general kind of here, so I'm happy to see it whenever I can. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Ludi map list has it, not just for zones, but maybe for something else there. Yeah, I think it's for clams too, which very common, so you already know I'm vibing going into this section.
Okay, so let's get that out of the way. So they came in with a roster of 2. They suddenly found two more people somewhere in Umami zones and joined them. By the way, Pollo was so afraid they decided that one person had to run for the hills and say, no, we don't want to be unemployed ourselves. We're out of here. So let's get that short up. We actually need 4v4 coming up into game number 1, where I think things will get ironed out there just a few quick moments there, Grace, which I think okay, well, we've seen everything already.
I mean, I think they were just trying to tip the scales. They were trying to be a little bit fair there. Gentlemen's, okay, well, if you only have 2 people, we'll only bring 3 people. Only 3. Don't even worry, guys. Don't even worry about it. We're gonna help you even it out a little bit. Gentlemen's 3v2. Listen, Jeff counts as like 8 people as we've discussed, so we think this is a little bit fair.
So let's see. So if you say Jeff counts as 8 people, they got 1 extra person with them, that makes 9. We say 9b3 because one person ran. So if we do the math, it totally equals out, right? Is that
it does? Yeah.
Is that how that works? Okay, I'm caught up now, Grace.
Listen, I've only taken 1 math class so far in college, and it was not pretty. So I think we did the math very well, though. Nobody fact check it. Nobody look anything up. We're totally fine. Don't even worry about it. Oh my gosh, Umami zones. Wow, changing the topic. Anyways.
Okay, so now that we're back in math class and we finally graduated math class. But yeah, no, Umami zones. That, by the way, is that 2-zone map. I think a lot. I'd imagine we got a bunch of fans for that one. You mentioned you're a fan yourself, and yeah, we took that map list. It is Umami has 2 maps available out of this pool. That was Umami Zones and Clams. Again, we'll see if we do see Clams in the next round, but who knows when that will be. So I'm kind of excited to see what Pollo and the Faces of Unemployment, what they want to dish out comp-wise.
I'm interested too, and I mean, I feel like Pollo, you could totally just like stalk their send out, which is totally not what I'm doing right now on my second monitor. My eyes are not glancing to the side for that. I mean, what's interesting, kind of, this is a bit of a sidetrack, but what's interesting about playing tournaments when, not like a high profile team, but when you're on stream a lot, like these Great White teams, a lot of the time, your comp is kind of out there. It's kind of public knowledge a little bit. And I feel like a lot of the teams are like, that kind of puts a target on your back where you're like, oh, well, I don't want to get streamed on SOS every week, even though I'm so cool. And I love that Kiona and Grace are talking about me right now, which is very true. But it definitely, it makes it tough because you give the opportunity for your opponents to kind of VOD you, which is kind of tough to go up against.
I definitely get that. I feel like the train of thought is if you're being shown to a wide audience, we may want to reserve some of our strats later because nobody else will actually get to see it. By the way, Jeff's on that split. We shouldn't be surprised. The Face of Unemployment, by the way, is fielded on the Bravo team. Pollo on the Alpha team. High Neo Luna Blaster. That's Ultra Stamp. I keep saying Ultra Stamper. It's such a stamp. Bear with me on that one. There's a Squeezer, which I feel like has been a lost weapon there. It's still somewhat popular, but it's kind of fallen off just a tiny bit in terms of popularity. But otherwise, kind of what I noticed with the weapons, I want to see the dual Ultra Stamp. I'm not gonna lie here, Grace.
Now the Luna Blaster, that is an interesting choice. And I mean, oh, they're gonna get taken out. That's awkward. Anyways, here, Jeff is kind of going for blood here, but they're gonna get taken out. And I mean, the Squeezer, we talked about it kind of falling out a little bit there, but it's always as strong as ever. So they're gonna be able to make quick work here of the Face of Unemployment. Maybe y'all should get a job. I don't know.
You know, we'll need to think about that for another time. Which, by the way, Pollo's doing a great job. That's a lot of paint right out of the gate there. Sprinkler being, by the way, being used. Thrown into the wall. Zuka actually expertly dodged somehow just by hiding behind the wall. But we do get to see a lot of points being churned out here from Pollo there. Pollo's is gonna be getting this one down 3-4 points. Actually gonna be potentially a lot more. There's actually a ton of paint that is available from Pollo. It's gonna be a little bit slow running here from the Face of Unemployment. There's that Ultra Stamp. I just saw Jeff get 2. That was beautiful. But can they get the zone? That's the next stage of this. They're actually trying to paint all over this one. Look at this movement Jeff is doing. Jeff is just running, trying to run circles. They get 1. That's a trade. That's good enough for the Faces of Unemployment. They stop the zone cap from going down much further. Pollo, by the way, punches first. They get it down to 18 points for paint here, Grace.
And I mean, that is a killer kind of push here from the members of Pollo, but to be expected here. They've been in Great White for forever. I feel like literally every week I see them over here. I'll sometimes make them with the graphic, the winner's graphic. Like, I feel like I see them a lot here, so they're very familiar. But I mean, we see Jeff here. They've already got the hammer ready. They might want to do it, follow up with this splashdown going in. And again, yes, they are going to be able to pop that hammer and hopefully get a pick here. They are marked, all of the members here, but one of them jumps out just in the nick of time. That Luna, though, is going to be able to take them out. Listen, short range, fighting short range, I think is kind of silly.
It is very silly, especially when Jeff just swims fast, just goes fast, Ultra Stamps fast. By the way, getting the second double with just the Ultra Stamp. That's always pretty cool. But we also got to highlight Pollo, by the way, who's been able to hold the line tremendously well. Yeah, I know I made notes that, okay, I want to see an Ultra Stamp battle, but honestly, Pollo's teamwork has just been incredible, to say the least. Not really allowing the Faces of Unemployment to get too much out of there. Yes, we do get to see a zone split. And yes, we do get to see 3-member sound. As soon as I talk Pollo up a good game, they start to go 3 down. And the Face of Unemployment, by the way, is going to be out of the penalty points, down a little bit more, 66 points for maintenance, still counting here, Grace.
Indeed, indeed. And I mean, you see that lovely cooler that's right there in the faces of the unemployment folks right now. But Pollo does have a few specials online here. I mean, they've got it there with that, the bubble specifically, I feel like it's going to give them a lot of space to kind of go forward here. But it's all about that placement. Not so much about whether or not you can get picks off of it, but it's about where is it going to be the most effective here. And the members of Pollo here, oh no! Jeff's going to be able to sniff out that they were trying to use that bubble there, especially because when you have it so long there as a junior, you know that you want to use it in a good position. And that hammer is always going to be used to counter it, no matter what.
Yeah, and Jeff just snuffed that out beautifully. Yes, it is going to be a good enough trade. It is going to actually be a 1-point difference, to say the least. With the game almost virtually tied, Pollo's going to be getting out of the penalty points here potentially. They just got to hold off for just a few quick moments. I know we're noting Jeff, who's just moving all over the board. There's a trade of the hammer and a blaster. C and Neo and that Luna's blaster is going to go down. They're out of the penalty points for just for now. Excuse me. Pollo is able to get one of the zones. There's the bubble being used, able to take out C. That's a nice little pick there, and it's going to be 2 members down. They're going to run out of juice for this push here. Grace, Pollo, by the way, continuing that run, and they're going to be up 1-0 to start this semifinals matchup.
I really like the movement there from Tacos there on that junior, and especially the bomb placements zoning out. I mean, very successfully zoning out the members there of the face of unemployment. Sorry, that's just the best name ever. I really like that. Taco with the massive flippers. Sorry, I love looking at people's fits here. Massive flippers, the snorkel. But which armor was that? Like the mech costume? Was that what that was?
I think it was actually.
Yes.
I think it was.
You're not swimming in that, man. Tacos, you're sinking. Oh, get it, guys, get it. So, get it. Oh God, just keep talking, Kyo.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll save you here. But I got it, Grace. Don't worry, I got it, Grace. But look, that's a great start. If you get things back into gear, Grace slowly recovering here. Come back to me here, Grace. But real quickly, love Pollo just going on that run. We do get to see Faces of Unemployment actually going toe to toe with them right towards the end, and Team War Nations was pretty much on point. Being able to pick off members of the Faces of Unemployment, or the Face of Unemployment, excuse me, one by one. We go to Tower Control on Mako Mart. The next one. I'd be shocked if the Luna Blaster does not leave Pollo, by the way. That's probably the best choice you could have.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm thinking about those comps yet again. We were already talking about Jeff, and I mean, not that I don't love talking about Jeff, but to give a little light there for Prosper, one of the members that we do know the name of, who isn't a secret ghost. They were there on that Nautilus, which, I mean, they make the rounds in Nautilus. We know that they play that, but again, I'm happy to see it. Like Sploosh, excuse me, not Splash. Everyone knows about Splash.
Yes,
we know her, but yeah. Sploosh and Not, very interesting picks, and they're playing together with that. So I'd be interested to pick their brain and see why they like that comp and what kind of makes that work. Because like it's working, but I want to see what they think about it too.
They're why not go to the lab and trial it out? I'm gonna be curious to see if they run it back for another time. By the way, more clarity for those wondering. By the way, Prosper Samael, by the way, I think they were on the one on
Yes.
the Nautilus, and then of course C was one of the many unnamed names we're gonna note there right now on that group. And then you have Reed HXH running out the group, which I'm sure C and Reed are both no names there, according to Sendu. When I say no names, their name is literally empty. You got to trust us on that one. Which, by the way, you shouldn't be surprised. Jeff's going to be back on the Splooge, of course. Actually, I think the only change is just going to be the Zekko Firefin. I think that's just going to be your Charger or the Scope. Oh, no matter the case, it's the same kit. It's the Trip Strikes that is going to be available there for the Face of Unemployment.
Listen, if I'm on the side of Pollo here, I'm going to be praying and begging, and I'm gonna be like, I have Red Hunter, please do not snipe me here. And I mean, the ZNF here with those strikes as well, it is a killer weapon kind of kit here for tower control specifically. And I mean, they're in that really good position, kind of they're off to the side. The strike's already getting popped here, and they are opting to kind of follow up with their teammates here. Although that they do go 2 down there, with Jeff and Prosper specifically being the ones to go down here. But I mean, the members of Pollo are ready for this. They pop a hammer of their own here, zoning out the members of Unemployment, kind of pushing them back into their spawn, and they're staggering a little bit here. As I say that though, it looks like that one member of Pollo did not read Hunter, unfortunately.
No, a little unfortunate. We, by the way, do read Hunter x Hunter. I will admit, I do need to check out that series at some point. By the way, Pollo is going to be the one roaring their way past the first checkpoint onto potentially the second. As soon as I say that, that's not happening anymore. That's going to be Prosper, by the way, riding this tower back just a bit, just forcing the reset. They don't quite make it to the second checkpoint, but that's still a great start nevertheless. We're trying to continue that same momentum, but look out for Jeff, who I actually don't think actually got anybody, so they're just going to abandon everything that they had, and there's just gonna be 2. Make that stagger 3. Jeff is the one that's just trying to make so much movement. Is gonna finally get snuffed out by Pollo, and just like that, Pollo, by the way, has a lot of paint control, a lot of turf control, if you will, around this tower here, Grace.
I'm kind of the cogs are turning a little bit on how that weapon kind of works a little bit. Those weapons work together there with the Nautilus and the Sploosh. I mean, listen, the picks are flying left and right. I gotta make this quick, Kyone, but that rain, very, very interesting. It like heals Jeff, and also the markers there with the Nautilus as well, being able to mark off the teammates so that Jeff can just kind of hone in and get those kills. We don't even have to think about where they're shooting because they're already marked for them. So I see what they're cooking, and I like it.
That's gonna be what I'm intrigued to see how this is all gonna play out. Which, by the way, just a very messy, bro. I feel like this entire game here, Grace, has been almost just yellow ink everywhere. I feel like Pollo's just gotten the upper hand in terms of control around the map. But the problem is getting it past the second checkpoint in a very tough-minded team here in the face of unemployment with all the notable players that we see here, Prosper and and Jeff as well. So Reed, Hunter, and C also making up for the other 2, which, by the way, 2 members already down, so this could be an opportunity to make it to that checkpoint. Not able to get the snipes, by the way, but they are going to have to escape. That was a lot of pressure being dished out. 1-for-1 trade. Jeff is going to go make a trade here with the junior. All things considered, that tower is actually stalled. They're buying themselves a little bit more time. They finally clear the first checkpoint there, Grace.
Yeah, and I mean, that just kind of goes to show here how good Pollo is at this defense here. I like that bubble placement there from Tacos yet again, who's kind of always been on it here with that paint control, with that bomb control, the zoning, but the bubble placements as well here. Huge pick there onto the Nautilus as well, going to be able to open up that stack for the members of Pollo to kind of go in, get that more of that map control here. Tacos being able to hop onto that tower because of that as well. And I mean, the members of Unemployment, although that lead isn't quite safe by a huge margin here, Pollo definitely wants to extend it here, but it's a 2v2 situation, which, I mean, arguably it's always been because there's 2 secret members. But Jeff, once again, showing off how great they are with that hammer, going to be able to get another pick and hopefully another one with the hammer throw. Do they? No.
Not quite, though. That would have been style there. You know, the secret member C and Reed Hunter, excuse me. We're just gonna call it like that. But by the way, trying to bite off a little bit more than they can chew on that stage. That's gonna be the wipeout. That's actually gonna be this could be a strong push coming up here from Pollo. That cooler is gonna disappear here soon if the tower just runs over it, which it will. So goodbye cooler. But I think everybody got the juice that they need. That is gonna be 53 punch main, and actually 2 members already down. Make that 3. It is a trade across the board. It is a wipeout, but that's actually a wipeout in favor of Pollo, so they're going to keep this push just long enough for the jumps to come right in, and that's a nice little pick on to C. And now the doors just kind of break a little open, so to speak. Not quite wide open yet because that's still the second checkpoint not quite clear. Down to 20 seconds left to go on the clock. Reed is still trying to clear out the space. It's going to be maybe a little bit more. This is going to need to be a push for the face of unemployment that they got to nail here soon. 10 seconds left to go on the clock. There's a tower ride. They're going to get the OT, but there goes 3 members, and forget any of those ideas. That's the wipe up for the cherry on top there, and that's going to be 2-0 for Pollo. They're on a run. They're on a streak here.
That was a huge streak, and I mean, we still know this is a best of 5 though, folks, as you can kind of see there when we get to that maps screen with all the lovely maps that we'll be seeing. Oh, so sorry, I just got distracted by Taco's humongous headphones now. You are not swimming.
Nope.
Bro is not swimming. But the flippers will help.
We're gonna need to find some more effective swimming gear for you there, Tacos. But I mean, let's be real. I think with the way Pollo's played that game throughout was being able to stagger out the face of unemployment, especially just coordination, being able to win multiple team fights. It feels like it's been like I see a lot of fights that just go 1 member down, then another member down about 2 seconds later, then another member down. It just makes it hard for your defense to get set up for the face of unemployment. So Pollo just kind of understand that assignment. Did get uncomfortably close at the end, but they finally broke through with enough points to work with. So, I mean, honestly, Pollo's just doing a phenomenal job right now.
And I mean, as expected, because we know these folks yet again. I love their Minecraft chicken profile picture. I like how their logo is just the little Minecraft chicken. I think it's in a boat. No, it looks to be in some birch wood. And then it says Pollo
You know,
I really like that.
You know, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Okay, I lied. That's actually being too low. That's being mean. We gotta we gotta move it up to 9.9 out of 10. There you go. That's a good one. No one ever gets a 10 out of 10 in the logo department. If they get a 10 out of 10, there's a glitch in the matrix there. Grace, let's. That's my call on that one. But no. They're playing phenomenal. They're honestly the way they're playing, if they keep this up, this is gonna be a great run for them here in SOS. Possibly looking for more results down the road. Gonna be curious to see if they can get the sweep or what I like to call the fabled reverse sweep territory here for the phase of unemployed. Now they got to win the next 3. The good. Pollo knows. Pollo knows. they know. Thank you so much there, producer Justin, for showing that one off. I spoke a lot here. The game 3, it is gonna be match point coming up here for Pollo. Win and they will move on to Grands. Only change here is gonna be Smile or Prosper moving over to the V shot. Whereas 4K moves to the Zeko Firefin. Tacos go on to the Zap being the major changes, but that's what I see.
Interesting here. I wonder if Prosper is like, I can support Jeff a little bit better here if I just give them some more firepower to go off of, follow up off of, whether it be Chipwise, Crossfire, or just the Zookas as well. So again, I'm interested, but an interesting change, I would say. I don't want to say a welcome change because the Nautilus pick was interesting as well, but Jeff here is going to be able to go down. I mean, that pop was an early kind of advantage there for the face of unemployment, but they don't quite have mid control right now. And I mean, Jeff here getting right back into mid, maybe wanting to grab this Rainmaker. Going to be able to hammer, though, with the cursed hammer that we've kind of been seeing here. Not able to get another pick, though, but they're following up. They're getting so much attention just with their plays, their movement, if you will, that, I mean, it's going to be tough for Pollo to read Hunter x Hunter in these conditions.
It's going to be tough for them to read any sort of series in these conditions there. Face of unemployment is going to be the one to strike first, and that's actually a nice little snipe there onto Prosper in that regard, but they're going to be slowed down just a tiny bit. So one of the things I've noticed here, Grace, with the way this set's kind of been playing out is just paint difference effectively. I know it doesn't seem like much there between Pollo and the face of unemployment, but it feels like you with the face of unemployment, they're just looking for fights and picks across the board, but they don't give themselves a little bit of time to get to assert control of the map. But I think they don't need to worry about that if they're going to get sneaky pushes through. That's 38 points remaining. That's the wipe. But it feels like that's been the thing that's hurting the face of unemployment in terms of keeping their SOS run here alive. So I'm gonna be curious to see if they can get that one short up. Try to look for value picks across the board, but Pollo, by the way, is moving fast. They just got the checkpoint there. Grace, there's 3 down from the face of unemployment.
Yeah, and I mean, these points are probably going to be flying down here fast, and they are going to be able to get the lead there. If you notice before, the lead there that Jeff was able to get there for the side of unemployment earlier was just right before that little pillow, that little inflatable thing there. So mentally, if you make note of that, if you're on the side of Pollo, and they grabbed and they got some more sneaky points there, I think that was. And I mean, they were able to completely wipe the members of unemployment there. We're gonna have to VOD that and see what happened, but it just looked like a lot of coordination, and even despite that splashdown, they just plowed in right through their defenses. Wow.
Did my eyes read that correctly? Was that a double off of a trip strike? By the way, well-placed trip strikes at that, because I think that was around one of the members with the triple splashdown. Then actually got a stray member that got the wipeout. Okay, they're okay, Pollo. Go on the Great White Bracket finals. You've understood the assignment. That's by the way, 3-0 against the face of unemployment. Very much. Excuse me. Needed there. Pollo will be moving on to face a team that's actually already waiting for them will be the Galactic Geckos coming up, and this is a fun grand final match to wrap up a good Wednesday night.
Yeah, and I mean, Galactic Geckos, they were seeded first. Shout out to SOS seeding staff and also the send out auto seeder. My poopies over there, but. I mean, these are all folks y'all know very well, so happy to see them again, probably for multiple times here in Grands for SOS here, but best of 5 yet again here. These comps are going to be interesting, and as y'all know, we always open on splat zones, and we always end on splat zones because they're sandwiched a little bit. Zone priority, you already know. I love how every time I do, I'll do this, and you're like, I love we're like synced up. We're like miming each other, mimicking each other. So, but Kyon, golly gee goodness, stacked rosters up against each other right now. Oh wait, we can see that it is a 4v4 now and not a 2v4. So this is great for the members of Pollo.
Yep. Pollo now they got the 2+2. I'm gonna call it there, and now they got that 4v4. Now we enter grand finals time to see who wins SOS 180. Should be a fun one. Who takes this one home, which should be a fun one to start. You know, there are two sandwiched in between. You got zones priority, so for maps 1 and 5, opener and closer will always be zones. By the way, deja vu for those prior Mako Mart's back just this time in the zones variant. Galactic Geckos is going to be interesting. This is a pickup team, too, no surprise. You got a couple members, according to Sendo Bios, on Monsoon. You got one on Remedy, the captain, and then there's Pika by the way. That name will be very familiar. So So I'm sure this will be a fun matchup to have. By the way, yes, there's the bracket. There are some of the results we are seeing here. Galactic Geckos, by the way, 3-1 OctoPi there, and they also 2-0 the $6 comps, which will need to be researched for next time. So overall great run. Both teams, I think, if I'm not mistaken, yes, both teams actually only have lost one. Galactic goes 2 less because they got the first round bye. So this could be very exciting to say the least here, Grace.
Yeah, and I mean, sad to see our friends that we were just watching there kind of go, but at least OctoPi only has to beat a 4v2 there in the third place match. So good for them. But I mean, kind of looking at the maps that we have lined up here, Kyon, I am not ecstatic, but I'm happy that we're returning again to Splatzone's Mako Mart. I mean, we've seen Pollo do it. I mean, Galactic Geckos probably also did it because it was,
Yep.
on TC last time, but it was in the last set. Anyways, so we know that they know their way around a stack or two, and a grocery store or two. So
it's time to go shop. It's time to go shopping. All of our friends out there. I see this grocery store and I'm just reminded of all of the warehouses now. Costco, you know what I'm referring to. Not sponsored.
I wish.
Right? A lot of friends I know will wish for that here. By the way, you know how you love Mega Zones? I take it one step further. I feel like we're gonna be almost staple maps, to say the least, because you see Undertow Spillway Rainmaker. I was supposed to say Undertow Rainway Spillmaker. That's completely wrong. And then Inkblot TC coming up. It's almost 3 maps you see a lot. So both teams will get some practice on basically whatever practice they needed, they get the practice here, to say the least. Barnacle Diamond Clan Blitz, if we need to get to that point, is the 4th. I dare I say a very common Clan Blitz map as well. So we're going to see a lot of very common things. We're going to be seeing a lot of very common maps, coming up here, Grace.
I mean, you know her, you love her. Tower Control Inkblot, that's your favorite counter pick, your opponent's favorite counter pick, your mom's favorite counter pick. Everyone and their mother knows Inkblot TC specifically. So I mean, it's just always good practice whenever you see it, because you will be playing it forcibly all the time, every day, probably every day. If you're scrimming every day, if you're doing send out queue, although it's down right now, rest in peace. It's coming back, it's just not in season right now. I feel like you just see it all the time here. Similarly to Mako, just kind of in a lot of its modes, I feel like, even for folks who are like, actually, the Rainmaker is not a good one because the routes are awkward or something, or whatever smart people say. You still even see that one a lot here. And Undertow, like you said, like, we see these all the time. So
yeah,
no matter what, it's great practice. It's definitely maps that these folks have probably played on in a grand finals or two in SOS in the history.
For sure.
Of SOS. So,
you could say any tournament, but especially SOS.
True.
But especially SOS, just for you, Grace. Especially.
Oh wow.
I know, right? But no, I giggle and laugh a little bit. By the way, we do have a little bit of time here. But Inkblot Art Academy Target Troll, I know a specific pal and a specific TO that just anytime he sees Inkblot TC as a counterbreak, probably busy screaming in the corner. Anytime that just shows up, so it's like, well, everybody's gonna get pressed on it, but maybe we can perform this one better. The good news is they don't have to counterpick it. That's what has it for them here. So hey, everybody's gonna get warmed up here. I think we're actually gonna be close to getting ready here soon. So Grace, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be a good wrap up. As soon as I lied. This will be a great wrap up to SOS Wendy. You could tell nighttime killing really is showing here today, Grace.
Listen, I mean, we haven't even gotten into nighttime Grace, although I am usually up around this time, sometimes staffing SOS, sometimes playing SOS, and now commentating. So I've got the trifecta. I'm always got SOS in my veins. I'm a swimmer sinker time. I explode. Somebody in the Twitch chat earlier said, oh my gosh, SOS is still running, and I almost said they would have to pry SOS for my cold dead hands before it stops running. So you already know there's a lot of love being put into it, as much as I joke a little bit here from all of us. But my golly goodness. Similar comps that we kind of saw there from Pollo before, but the Galactic Geckos, again, similar comps here. Pika always giving me a lot of good decaf. Oh my gosh, that was a killer pick there from Pika there at the start, but always putting out some good decaf tips there on Blue Sky. So happy to see them playing it here.
I'm gonna be excited to see how they perform with that decaf available. Well, by the way, the rest of the Galactic Geckos, by the way, awesome team name on top of it too. Nico's gonna be using that crab tank as well towards the right stack, trying to throw a few burst bombs in the crab tank. Ain't gonna find much. And actually another tap shot onto the pencil from the pencil in Pollo's side, and that's gonna be that. And they got good control of the zone. Pollo's actually just running with it right now. This feels like it's very similar from last time.
Yeah, and I mean, this stack control is kind of going to be the name of the game here. I mean, we see Celtic kind of already going to be able to follow up off of their teammates there into that bubble. Going to be able to hammer into that bubble there, taking out Pika as well. And I mean, whenever there's somebody with hammer, whenever they have that ultra stamp online or just in the comp, you always have to be careful about where you're bubbling. Nico here, that crab is going to have to be wasted there trying to get some picks there because they were getting aggressed there from the members of Pollo. And a flank here, again from the side of Pollo, is going to be able to take out quite a few members. That pencil's fighting for dear life in that corner is going to get taken out. But Galactic Geckos did stall for quite a bit of time here. And Pollo is only just now capping the zone once again. So Galactic Geckos is still in this game.
But for how long gonna be the question, because Pollo's just running with it there, because you saw earlier Galactic Gecko literally had to throw the entire kitchen sink, maybe the entire house on that zone just to keep themselves alive for game number one. But Pollo is just running with a ton of momentum. It's gonna be interesting to see if Galactic Gecko can find the counter. Nico, by the way, with the third defensive crab tank, just trying to get themselves any semblance of space that they can build. And it's actually gonna be two members down. There's a well-timed trip strike. Should be a zone split here the other direction for sure now, and that will be Galactic Geckos now getting control back. They are gonna be out of the penalty points here shortly. Two members down from Pollo. A little bit of a boot up time there, about 2 minutes into the matchup, but certainly for Galactic Gecko, they're gonna feel good about it. Now they just gotta take that on some of these points, which will be flipped here momentarily into Pollo's favor, unless Pika has other things to say about it. Gets one, and will keep the zone's control for just a little bit longer.
Yeah, I was about to give Pollo a lot of credit there, and I think they definitely still deserve it here, but they almost capped the zone there with no resources spent. I mean, they didn't go any members down, they didn't pop any specials quite yet, but then Pika came around from the side, kind of seeing that the tide was shifting onto Pollo's favor, and was able to capitalize off of that kind of excitement. I feel like you get that adrenaline feeling when you're about to make a really good play, cap that zone, be able to preserve your specials, and Pika kind of turned that against the members of Pollo there, being able to get a really good flank off, and that is kind of the bread and butter of getting good flanks here. Pika here once again, as I've been chatting about them here. Okay, just keep talking.
Celtic just showed up and just gets a point blank shot and follows it up with the Celtic with the delayed triple there, and is gonna get the delayed 4. Picks off Pika for the second time on that run alone. Okay, Celtic, we see you right there. That was beautiful, and that actually just by the way by themselves gives Pollo the chance for the zone. This could be a little bit more. They're going to be a trade of the slosher. Okay, this could be Galactic Gecko's time to shine. They got 2 members members down. They wrestle control back. That actually bought Pollo a lot of time to work with here to keep that lead going. Galactic Geckos was just ready to throw even more into that zone with 1:07 left to go. Galactic Geckos still holding on to this.
Killer redemption arc there from Pika as we just saw them accidentally get picked off twice there in a row. Oh my gosh, Pika, I'm so sorry. 3 times now in a row, awkwardly. But they did get that killer double there that let their team there kind of get back into that zone. And I mean, although it did flip right back into Pollo's favor now, that crab is ready here from Nico, going to be able to isolate the members kind of here of Pollo. Not going to be able to let them get back onto the stack, which is so huge. They're going to be able to use that to their advantage, use those height differences, the levels, if you will, as I'm using my Italian hand once again. But Tacos here was ready for it there with that bubble, going to be able to zone out the members once again with those bombs as well. So expertly. Oh, the jump. No, Pika, no. No, Pika. Oh. Do they know? Do they? No. Wait, Pika. Wait, Pika's actually... Oh, come on.
No, that's all it's gonna be. Which, by the way, 14 seconds of this could be potential KO territory here. No, it may not be actually. This is gonna be the zone's flip. Now, this is overtime favoring Galactic Gecko. They're able to get the control back of that zone here soon. And with about a second left, yes, the OT is going to be kicking in. 2 members, by the way, going to be going down just like that. Now you see the burst bombs being chucked in to that side. Miner is going to be the one lurking large. This is actually be pressuring on Pollo just a little bit longer. It's going to need to be a pick coming up here soon. The Ultra Stamp's going to be needed here from Celtic, which, by the way, Celtic's going to get 1, and well, the Ultra Stamp just there for show now because that pick came in timely. That just like that, Pollo does hang on. Got a little scared at the end, but that's going to be game 1 to them.
That was really interestingly done. And I mean, I was just going to talk about the play from, I don't know which member of, I don't know which member it was, but they kind of led Miner into their demise because they used their sightlines kind of events against them there, one of the members of Pollo. And so Miner kind of walked up into them thinking, oh, well, I have the advantage here. I have the high ground as my slosher. But then they hid in that little cubby and were able to get the pick off of them. And I mean, you already saw there, the members of Pollo just kind of swept it up there from that pick as well. And I mean, they played that really well. I feel like the crabs from Nico, I was seeing them, but Pollo was playing really well against them. The bubbles coming out from Tacos as well, a really good counter to crabs. But just the team comp in general of the members here, excuse me, oh my gosh, of Galactic Geckos, but listen, Kyone, it's not over till it's over here. TC Inkblot. Your mom, of course, your grandmom's favorite counter pick. Even Gam Gam's getting in on Inkblot.
Everybody's picking Inkblot tower control there too. I mean, both. Nothing more to say about this one. Everybody knows this map, so I actually want to go back to that first map. Celtic, criminal delayed 4. Actually buys a lot of penalty points for Galactic Gecko to chew through. Pika just getting caught off guard, so it's been a great solo effort, but also the team able to back him up. So can Celtic return the favor here? Actually, I don't think there's gonna be no weapon changes. So let's just rerun the same weapon comps just like before. Now we get to see how the execution differs. Of course, you're going from what mode from zones to tower control now. Of course, you got Inkblot. Everybody knows this map combination all too well. So going to be intrigued to see how the opening in this case plays out with your love going a little too deep, realizing that Nico was just lurking through, and it's gonna be the first points to Pollo to no surprise, and the slosher probably going down on top of it. This could be easy points coming up here, but the tower gonna reset real quick.
The interesting thing to note about that opening as well, Keon, is that they mirrored each other a little bit. They each went for the left side stack on their respective kind of angles here of this map, and that was kind of interesting because neither of them fought each other in mid. It was a really interesting open. Like, they were both kind of fighting for mid. For mid. Grace, you didn't just say that. My gosh. They were both fighting for the plat area of their opponents there. So that was very interesting. And I mean, I'm happy to see fun openings. It was kind of unexpected and it took me back quite a bit here. But Pollo, you already know, Kyone, they're coming in hot. They're popping this whale. The strikes are coming out, which is going to be able to knock out quite a few members. But they're 1-1 right now. Pencil versus pencil. Will they fist fight in mid? I don't think so.
I would have loved to see a pencil fight in that regard. But both teams ultimately playing that one smart, just trying to build as much, trying to give themselves a lot of space to work off of. Which, by the way, something that I just realized now is that the second checkpoint, I believe, was just cleared there from Pollo. Which that second checkpoint always treacherous for those who have played this map a lot. But Galactic Geckos, by the way, is losing a ton of steam. By the way, Pollo is just running with the crazy momentum that they're having. Galactic Geckos kind of stuck in neutral for just a little bit longer. Excuse me. Trip Trek's being used. Dave's gonna go down with the decav. On top of it, there's gonna be picks all across the board, but Galactic Geckos might bought themselves a little bit more time. They certainly did. Nico gets the other one. Grace, all it stands 45 points remaining is the max score for Pollo.
Oh my golly goodness. The pencil fight, Wibby, it's happened. No, never mind. Okay, they're repositioning, which is smart here, but in my heart, I do want to see the pencil fist fight. Maybe in mid, maybe an ego fight on the tower. I'm always for it. But listen here, Nico's gonna pop that crab. Really, really great at kind of getting that chip damage in and making the members kind of here back up quite a bit. And I mean, we're gonna see a lot of fights once again. It's scrappy, as would Skeptilians. How many times will I mention Skep?
Yep.
50-11. But it's just a lot of fighting here. And I mean, the map control is going back and forth quite a bit. And I mean, Tacos here on this junior is gonna really be the one to flip that, I feel. And I mean, they're painting around this tower like crazy. We're seeing it. They're getting that drink. They're drinking up. They're painting so much. Yes, keep painting. I love this, like turf war. But I mean, you can see by the scores here, Pollo is really in control of this game so far. And I mean, despite them going 2 down here, despite them staggering a little bit, and I mean, their pencil's a little bit weak, not going to be able to quite get the pick here from Miner, but I mean, Pollo, they're the ones with a lot of points here on the board so far.
Lots of points on the board. About a minute 40 left to go on the clock. This could be a good Galactic Geckos, by the way, gain a stagger 2 down from what we saw earlier. As soon as I called that out, but there's a few tap shots. At the worst, 4K gain a few more in. That's gonna be clear coming out here from Pollo's end. Now, Pollo at this stage here, Grace, may not even really need to push as far as they can, but this is still a very treacherous site here for Pollo as Galactic Geckos just breaks through. Now, this is going to give Pika Dave a chance to build the space. They're actually trying to play the turret here, and it gets 2 members down. This is all of a sudden turning on a dime. The cooler being thrown out in front of them. 2 members down now on a stagger. Make that a staggered 3. This could be a delayed wipe. No matter the case, that is a lead change. Galactic Geckos, in less than a minute to go, gets the lead just like that, Grace.
Such a smart bubble there from Pika, and hopefully they're going to be able to extend this lead a little bit, keep the pressure up. I mean, there's 2 members down here on the side of Pollo here. Strikes coming out as well, Keon, but that bubble, I want to give some love to it there, was so smart. Push the members here of Pollo into a corner, kind of into their teammates there, which then they were able to follow up off of. Pika here again with this bubble, going to be able to pop it onto the tower, but 3 of their teammates are going to go down here, but Nico is like, you know, wouldn't it be so crazy? Oh, so sorry, Nico. It would not be so crazy. But Miner here is going to be able to get that jump in. Not quite able to follow up off of it. But Pollo here, they have quite an uphill battle. From once having being the team with only the points on the board here, they need to make a huge comeback here, and it's going to have to be an overtime push.
Well, this overtime push will have to start now as they got themselves ready to go. Watch out for Pika. We just saw that. Pika is about to slash from the side and is able to space them out just like that. But here's the thing. Pika still right behind them, is going to get shut down. But look at the amount of people they have to spend just to get there. And now they're able to swim right back. But actually, that's going to leave a big opening. No one's actually going to give them that opportunity. And that's actually going to be Galactic Geckos missing the opportunity to possibly get the tower control by themselves. There is a lot of room to work with. But 2 members have gone down. The worst 4K is painting all across the board. And just like that, the Pollo is gaining momentum once more. The junior has gone down. There's the slosher. The worst 4K throwing out tap shots. The crab tank needs to do its job, but the cooler being used. This is going to be great movement, but this is going to be the response coming up here, and they bought themselves just enough time right before they got to 4 points remaining. Grace, we went from starting things a little bit neutral for about the first 300 minutes, and then everything kind of kicked up to second gear. It's going to be Galactic Geckos tying up the set, though.
Yeah, and I mean, that flank at the start with Pika, I was like, there's no one around this pencil right now on the tower. They for sure get this. But then it was really, really interesting that their teammates kind of kited all the way back to come and support them, which understandable. You know, you're you do not want your pencil to go down on the tower in overtime. But like you said, really, really great maneuver. Not only they didn't quite get the pick there from Pika, I mean on the side of Pika there, but they stalled them out. They let their teammates get their ground there on plat, whereas if Pika hadn't made that play, hadn't grabbed their attention, hadn't pulled all of that away from the offense in front of the tower, they wouldn't have been able to set up a strong defense that let them win that.
Yeah, and I want to highlight that how that push suddenly got way out of control. You know that Dave's bubble was really smart. That kind of honestly that kind of kickstarted everything because they cleared the first checkpoint. That was the first step, but then you saw where Dave was positioned in such a place where everybody had to focus on Dave while they allowed Galactic the rest of his team, Galactic Geckos, was just able to move forward with that tower. And that allowed the lead to change hands fast. And then it was then Pollo, I think, almost kind of trying to run one member after the other to Galactic Geckos, trying to make something happen. And it just ballooned out of control. I'll give credit to Pollo, though. If you're gonna stay alive if you're gonna get that second map, you had to counter with a great push of your own, which almost materialized. I was wondering Galactic Geckos was actually gonna swipe tower at the end. Didn't really happen until they had to take the delayed wipeout on it. So. Great effort overall for both teams. We go on to a guaranteed game 3. Undertow Rainmaker. I'm gonna make this mistake all night, I swear, Grace. That's gonna be the next one coming up, which, by the way, both teams are queuing up already on.
Oh my golly goodness, they want us to stop talking, Kyon, or rather keep talking, but at a faster pace, perhaps. Wait a second, do my eyes deceive me? Is that
no, they don't.
Caltech on the Viper?
Yes.
Interesting, okay.
So, not just that, Tacos is now on Zap duty for this one too. Also, actually, I lied. There's 3 weapon changes from Pollo. That's also the scope, by the way, with the Inkback. Now, you and I both know that Inkbacks get used a ton based on Rainmaker maps. I think this is easily one of those cases. So I'm kind of excited to see what the 3 weapon changes are going to do for Pollo. Of course, you know Galactic Geckos by now. They're going to just dish out the same comps at the here in this third map. So wanting to see how this all materializes for Pollo coming into this one.
Definitely, and I mean, we're seeing a lot of scrappy fights kind of again, Skepidillions, happening here in mid, and I mean, Caltech there with that hammer is pulling a lot of attention away. They are going to jump out though. They're like, I don't want to be cornered like this. I'm just going to hop out here, but you can feel kind of the pressure that scope on the side of Pollo here is putting against Galactic Geckos here, because I feel like they're bobbing and weaving. They're a little bit nervous to be out in the open because they know that at any second they could get sniped. So even if you're not quite getting those picks here, the pressure and the control that you have with that scope is really, really interesting. But Nico here with this crab, talking about pressure, control, they're going to be able to get their teammates the Rainmaker here. First push we're seeing of this game, Kyon.
Yeah, first push they've seen this game, and well, this is for sure the first checkpoint. There's the wipeout, and by the way, it was 2 members invested on the right-hand side for Galactic Geckos that took out Pollo just like that. And we're gonna be seeing a slow developing play from Yurlop that just gets snuffed out just like that. But everybody's now trying to just dive right in, trying to prevent the Rainmaker from moving much further. But all of throwing the members right into it hasn't done much. There's just the panic pickup, effectively just trying to make something happen. But there is Tacos, I think, it's getting exploded near the Rainmaker explosion there. There's the aimback trying to force the slowdown. It is gonna be 53 points. There's Caltech getting the slash in half. There is gonna be 3 members down, and Kitty Jones gonna be thinking, I'm gonna just think about that twice. Wipeout leads to the first checkpoint. There's a punish on the jump, but just like that, Grace, that's already the first points of for Galactic Geckos. A very different start compared to the previous ones.
My gosh, the pencil here has been faring up really, really well here against that scope, which is kind of the unfortunate meta that we kind of have right now with pencil being so prominent, is that any other backline you go for here, it is tough to go up against the pencil because, well, they did just get a pick there onto Pika. Going to be able to open up mid a little bit for their teammates, having that decap down, make that 2 down now. A little bit of a stagger there onto the side of the Geckos, but Caltech, again, trying to make something happen here with their hammer. They did zone out a little bit here with Minor, but ultimately, they are going to be able to get out unscathed. But it's looking good for Pollo. Hopefully, they're going to be able to make a push happen sometime soon because they have mid, they have all that map control, and the members of the Geckos aren't quite in mid just yet.
Yeah, I mean, so far the defining difference has just been the great start there. That's a nice little pick on the miner that we see there, worse 4K. As they're able to get 2 members out, that snipe is able to get 1 more. I think they're distracted with the bubbler there, so they're gonna have to just throw out a few quick Rainmaker shots, which will be the first checkpoint clear for Pollo. Back to Splatoon 2 mechanics we go, and somebody explodes near the Rainmaker, by the way. That's the lead change for sure now, as it's gonna be the Inkling being used. That's gonna be Pika being able to get the slash, but Pollo just took it home to 19 points remaining, and that just changed on a dime. That's just a panic pickup for more points. There are Taco and the worst 4K still working large. That ain't gonna happen anytime soon. And Grace, we said that Galactic Geckos had a different start to this one, and Pollo, of course, with resilience, did get the lead back, and it's just 18 points remaining this time.
I wonder if the game plan here from the Geckos was to just stall and be able to not let Pollo kind of get their comp into fruition there, because once that Inkvac came out, I mean, they were powerless to kind of stop that push. I mean, the decav would have been kind of the bread and butter to be able to stop it there, but they weren't quite able to get it until it was too late. So I feel like going into this last minute here, it's going to be a matter of, well, can Pollo stop the Geckos from doing what they want to do? What does their comp want to do? What can we do to stop them from making a big push here? And I mean, it's probably just going to be about paying them out, keeping that kind of pressure still in mid. And again, they've got a pretty nice lead, but on Rainmaker, nothing is solid and set in stone.
Especially on Undertow, especially with both checkpoints down, you have that path is now paintable, so still definitely a lot of room to work with. But for the Geckos, though, they have to find a fight that they're going to need to win, because Celtic's, by the way, got an Ultra Stamp at the ready if they can take advantage of it here soon, which is not going to happen now. That was a huge shutdown. The problem right now is this. There's a lot of pain for Pollo's end. Pika has to use the bubble to just clear up the space. He's gonna have to be the one to be on Rainmaker duty the rest of the way. And well, that's just gonna be that. Well, things were looking hopeful for the Geckos if they were thinking that way. Surprise jump scare. There's a hammer. By the way, that's gonna be 2-1 for Pollo, and that's gonna be 1 more win, and they win Great White Brackets.
Indeed, indeed. And I mean, I'm happy to see no more flippers there on the from Tacos. I mean, you know, they can't swim in that outfit either. Well, I guess they could, but it would just be a little awkward. But again, a very, very tough kind of thing that Pico was kind of up against there. I mean, having to grab the Rainmaker, I mean, as the decav, generally not what you want to do in general there. But especially having to back up into your own bubble when you know that they I think they either had Hammer online or were about to have it online. I mean, it is really, really tough. And then ultimately, when you grab the Rainmaker in that overtime kind of situation there, and it's in mid, right? You're at that starting position, at that neutral. If you have to back up immediately, you're giving Pollo all the ammunition that they need to get that adrenaline kick in, to be able to zone you out, push you back further, and either make your time tick down, or, as we saw there, collapse completely in on you with the limited space that you have to move. So, really great done by Pollo. Their strategy, I mean, it was solid. The Geckos weren't quite able to stop it soon enough there, so they got that lead very convincingly, but Clam Blitz is very, very different than Rainmaker. I feel like it's still a lot of team strategy, but it's a little more methodical. So I'd be interested to see kind of if the Geckos are able to find their footing a little bit more on this mode as opposed to Rainmaker.
And this is and for Geckos, this is gonna be one more win, and they get to stay alive. Force a game 5, of course, in this weekly because hey, everybody wants to see a good game 5. Little storyline for you guys, because I love my stories a lot. Pollo, if I'm not mistaken, for the past, I think since 176 in SOS, 3rd or 2nd consistently in Great White Brackets. That first place actually has eluded them for a little while, so I think Pollo would like to get a first place dub in Great White Brackets. They want to try to take this one all the way home. I don't blame them. Why not? You are now at match point. Now you gotta seal the deal. Celtic, by the way, going to the Stamper now. Worst 4K goes back to Pencil, and Tacos is back on the Junior. So that's the only changes we see. Grace, Geckos just sticking with what they know.
Interesting. I'd love to, I keep saying this phrase, but kind of pick their brain there about the Stamper pick. I mean, was it to kind of go up against Pika there on that decav, although they were faring pretty well there on that Wiper? Or was it with those zips to be able to kind of contest that Pencil consistently with a special? Or is it just funny and cool? Or is this just a nice zip map? We'll never know.
Yep.
And by we'll never know, I mean somebody probably knows. But Pollo here, they're like, Grace, stop talking about our weapon comp. Talk about how sick this push is. 2 power clams in already here, Keon, and more to come. I mean, the whale's going to pop as well. The members of the Geckos are kind of pushed up into this little corner. The Scamper's going to go down, sure, but pretty good hold that Pollo kind of has here on the members of the Geckos.
Yeah, by the way, I'm trying to remember the last time I've seen a push go past the halfway marker in the first minute. That was a great start. It's actually suddenly ballooning out of control, I can only imagine. The coordination is just there right now, and you get to see Geckos kind of just stagger a little bit with some of the members going down at an inopportune time. So it's pretty much forcing Geckos to just be stuck in defense only for a minute and 20 seconds. They're going to need to build something out of this, but Celtic had ideas. I was gonna say they may have other ideas. Nope, Celtic had ideas, and that's all it's gonna be. I think there's gonna be another push coming in here soon. That's only gonna break through some of the penalty points. Only gonna add 3 more points to the points remaining. This is gonna be a quick delayed wipeout actually in this scenario. But Grace, they get another push in, and Gecko's still stuck on defense for a minute 40.
Yeah, and I mean they're just now getting into mid, but Pollo is still pretty pushed back. I mean, you see that they're hesitating to take this space, especially because the Geckos already have mid. They're already on their stack as well, but their pencil is going to go down, which is going to tear a huge hole into their defenses here. As you kind of see, the members here of Pollo are going to be able to close in on the Geckos, and I mean, they kind of just took mid right out from under them there, from the flanks, from the precision. They're kind of just going to go back to fighting for mid here. And I mean, Geckos still have a stance here on this stack. They have mid painted, but with that that zip coming out as well and the bubble, it's going to be tough for them to make a push going 2 down.
Definitely. Gecko's going to have to just slow down just a tiny bit more. They're also getting caught off guard by Pollo's, if I dare I say, frantic pacing, but it's frantic in their favor. Just super fast and also playing with pure aggression there, but their aggression is going to get slightly punished as they're going to get caught facing Nico with the crab tick, excuse me. So this is going to be an opportunity for Geckos to just get some paint on the board. They're going to try to build whatever control they have. They're going to get snuffed out though by Your Love. Your Love finds a perfect flank, by the way, and it is just going to be maybe that power clamp soon to disappear. Pika Dave trying to find value is just being caught by Pollo's movement. And needless to say, Grace, Gecko's just trying to make a push happen, but they're getting slowed down whichever way happens. Either it's just by flanks or just Pollo just collapsing on them.
Yeah, and I mean, Nico always up with the crabs. Gonna try to help their team kind of follow up off of their damage there and all that chip. But they're gonna get completely wiped here, and look at all the clams that they have online here. Pika gonna be able to score the ones to get them that lead. And the members of the Geckos were ready to go right back in to get some more clams back from mid. And I mean, you see Nico here, they have 3 more. We're gonna be able to score all of them here. And hopefully with the speed of that cooler, but they did get 1 in there. I was about to say that they didn't get any, but they did get some in here. Nico, again, following up with Pika with all that chip damage. They are gonna get another huge wipe. 3 more clams coming in with their slosher. If they're going to be able to stall it out there with that pencil, who's going to be jumping in and trying to get some more clams in here, and nobody's contesting them here, Keon. I think that's game.
That's game. So remember when I said that they were going to get snuffed up by picks and claps? They took that a little too personally the minute I had to say those words. Grace, by the way, of course, SOS just won't end because we're on to game 5 here, Grace. We will end with the pure zones, tower control, Rainmaker, clams, and indeed we make it to game 5 zones. Grace, for both teams, equally matched, especially big burst of pushes, to say at least in clams. It just comes out that Geckos takes it 100-0, and they were not phased at all with the start that Pollo had.
Yeah, I feel like when you've been competing for as long as the members of the Geckos have been, you kind of have nerves of steel, where you're like, even if they push to 1, you're like, I don't know, just like KO them, I guess, you know? So really, even if the pressure's on, the adrenaline kicks in, or whatever it is, whatever possesses them, always tends to kick in here. But Splat zones, who won the first zones game? Was it Pollo?
It was Pollo, yep.
Wonderful. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how Geckos run it back. And I mean, Mako is very different, not only because now there's only one big zone in the middle of the map, but it's a really good crab map. So I feel like Nico here on that splash is going to get a lot of value. But if you're on Pollo, you're kind of anticipating that. So what do you do against that? More bubbles, more pressure, strike them out, zip them. You have a lot of tools at your disposal, but so does the Geckos going into this. So I can't wait to watch it.
You know what the funny thing is? We saw weapon changes in the Rainmaker. They're willing to adapt to whatever map's being thrown at them. So I'm actually going to be intrigued to see if they have anything special. The answer is not really, but Celtic. So here's the big thing. So you know that Geckos won't really change too much. It's just going to be the same 4. So Celtic, we saw delivered some crazy punches in that Mako Zones map. Granted, that was probably a map that could heavily benefit what Celtic wants to play in that Luna Blaster. So it's going to be fun to see if Celtic can deliver almost similar, if not better value. Now, you mentioned before, though, this is a crab-friendly map. So Nico just gets the first crab right out of the gate and just tries to zone out Pollo, but not able to get the zones for themselves. Dave trying to go for another flank to no success. We're going to be seeing a zones not flip. It's going to be Pollo that gets it back. And it's 2 members down, by the way. This is a delayed 3. That's a great start for Pollo.
Indeed, a really, really great start. And I mean, again, I want to call out that they, not only did they see that flank kind of from Pika and they handled it really masterfully, but they did it really quickly so that Pika couldn't get that easy pick there onto that jump in. And they protected their teammates, which I think was pretty cute, pretty sweet. And I mean, Nico here not able to get a lot of value here with that crab, even though, again, we talked about it, is a really, really good crab map. But the members of Pollo, like I said, they knew it was coming. They knew that they were going to have to play around it. And Nico's going to end up going down as well. And Keon, as I'm talking, this might be the game. They're backing them.
That's it.
They're backing them. And I mean, they are going to try to get back into the zone here, but they're not able to paint it in time, Keon. My gosh, that was like that. As soon as we started commentating, it was over. I mean, they just could not get back in. No matter what specials they popped, they staggered.
So, Pollo, your winners of SOS 180 just decided to say, all right, we're back in zones. All right, let's just seal the deal. So we were expecting some big bursts of back and forth. That was, let's put it this way, that was almost a 1 cycle burst, and it just kept going. It kept going, and it kept going. And Pollo, by the way, first place in SOS after a string of thirds and seconds. So that's hey, that's a great way to wrap up the SOS tournament for them. Gain the first place dub.
And I know how to congratulate them. Justin, roll the cameras. Roll the cameras. Come on. Bring our pretty faces in here. Come on. I know you want to. Pretend I'm a chicken. Yay, Pollo. I'm very, very happy for them. I mean, I love teams. I know. I love teams.
Yes.
With SOS. It's especially exciting to kind of see how folks get better as they play in SOS as well. Like, a lot of teams will be like, yeah, like, I don't scrim a lot. I just play SOS every week, so in hopes of winning. And I'm like, that is so cute, and it's so, so wonderful. And I mean, Pollo specifically, do it, Kion, do it.
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
That's good. But Pollo specifically, I mean, they had a great showing in the Sendout Q final as well, so big props to them. I'll give them a round of applause in a circle, just for them. And 2 thumbs up, two of them. It's pretty big count. So, I mean, like you've been saying, string of seconds and thirds. Happy to see them here, not only on the podium, but taking home the gold. And the really cute graphic where it says your name on it. It's really cute.
After a string of thirds and seconds for Pollo, they get first. We see, you mentioned before in the chat, they are, some of them, very excited. Even Taco even said we finally won SOS. So I think even for a weekly tournament, I know they wanted to get the string of thirds and seconds off the next there. So yeah, Pollo played really darn well, and Geckos almost tried to ran the table back, but that was a masterful game 5. There's nothing more to it. So. Grace, that was SOS 180. That was...
You're multiplying.
Hang on. Let me see if I can get it right before we close it out. There we go. Yes. Before the great Pollo logo invasion begins, Grace. By the way, Grace, love working with you. You know that by now, of course. Before we sign off, where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter technically, but I'm not really on her anymore. We're not friends anymore. I'm mostly on Blue Sky nowadays. I like a lot of stuff. I don't really post a lot of stuff. I'll retweet a thing or two. Maybe Lens art every now and then. Big Len fan. But you can find me at tubnug.bsky.social. Something like that. I forget. Somebody will tell me. It's not Tubnug though. But Kyon, where can the lovely people find you?
Yeah, you can find me not wearing this hat. I just like wearing this hat right now for SOS today. But yeah, you can find me Blue Sky, of course, Kyon2570.bsky.social, and of course Twitch. Taking a break, taking a small streaming break from Twitch, only just streaming somewhat on Mondays because you know the season. It's Ludi season, CCA season as well coming up there. Yep, all the Splatoon events are coming up, so just slowing down a little bit while we get through the seasons here. You'll probably hear me managing Ludi tonight as well next season on top of it. So you'll get to find me there. Shout out to, of course, Pipe Dream braving the night once more with beautiful production, and of course the shout out to the TOs. And of course, the shout out to all the teams in SOS who got some practice in and some results that they would hope to curry favors with the seating council. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wink, wink,
I think we are good here. I think, Grace, unless you think otherwise, which I'm not sure if you have anything extra to add.
No, we're definitely chilling. I mean, I'll call out specifically who was staffing tonight. Shout out Toma, Jokera, Tim, and of course, I'm gonna give another shout out to Pipe Dream, the lovely Justin, who you'll be seeing all the time. If you watch the Send Out Q finale, that was also Justin. That's my goat. You already know. Much love.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. Always a pleasure with you, Kyon. Always happy to be here. But I mean, that pretty much closes us out. We're good. We're good. You guys have a good night. Hopefully you get enough sleep for work or school tomorrow if you guys are still tuning in. So thanks for guys watching the presentation of Swimmer Sync. We'll see you guys, I think, in a couple weeks from now, not next week if I for SOS, unless I'm being told otherwise. But yeah, no, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks for more for another edition of Swimmer Sync. Until then, have yourselves a good night. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.